and less than 10 pounds and 10 to 15 pounds were tied. And I refused to get off the stream until the tie was broken. So the tie was broken at 10 to 15 pounds. So most people thought I lost 10 to 15 pounds. And I did. Most of you may have seen, which picture did I post as the thumbnail? Not the thumbnail, on my community tab. Let's see. Most of you at least saw the picture that I'm working with. Oh, yeah, I think it's this one. No, move you and go you. Most of you seen this that I posted earlier. Now, looking at this picture, honestly, does it look like I lost much? Y'all 10 to 15ers might have been wrong. You might have been wrong, okay? So from the picture, it looks like, okay, so one, it's a little off because I didn't have the same bra. I wanted everything to be the same, but I didn't have the same bra. And the bra that I was wearing kind of shows that like one boob is bigger than the other. And I felt like it was going to be really obvious to people. So I was trying to mask that. But anyway, maybe nobody would have noticed. I don't know. But that's why my arms aren't on my hips versus being up here. Now, I feel like I don't see a whole lot of change from this picture. Okay. Then there is the thumbnail picture that is a little bit closer. There's this one. Yeah. Let's see if I can get it closer. There's that one. Now, with this picture, I do see an enormous amount of change. Okay. So I guess it does depend on the angle too. This is more of like a lower angle when I took this picture. On the, I guess it's your left. Hi, Jen. On the left, I'm at 202 pounds. And on the right, we're going to talk about what my weight in is as of today. And then we're going to get into what I did for the month. And gosh darn it, what I learned, because I learned a lot. After being stalled for 5 months, I would say I learned a hell of a lot in the past 30 days. Okay, shut up, V. Hello, everybody. I was just, I needed a, not a distraction, but I needed something to play while I finished getting ready. Yeah, I was a little late because I was making my own coffee, Janitha. And you know what? It's in a Starbucks mug, so it makes me feel better. It's not Starbucks. It's actually Dunkin' in a Starbucks mug. Is that blasphemy? Is that traitorous? I don't know. I don't know, but I decided to make coffee at home today. I typically wouldn't even drink coffee this early, but I'm going through a refeed anyway, so there's no point in, like, I don't have to fast in the morning. So I decided I'm gonna enjoy my coffee. I'm actually on my second cup because I deserve it. So good morning, everyone. We are here earlier. Excuse me, then. Excuse me. Hey, rabbit. Don't you see me doing something? He don't care. Anyway, we're here earlier than usual, because I didn't have the patience to wait until the weekend to do this stream. Someone that shall remains unnamed did their big one. Did their big one and recommended a, well, not really recommended a video to me, but I was, for lack of better words, solicited. My opinion was solicited for a Countess of Shopping video. And I watched one video, I had an opinion, so I figured, let me do a little research, as I've done before with Countess, before reacting to her, because I know that people get a bit sensitive about you reacting to content creators that they like. So I made sure to, previous times that I've reacted to her, made sure to do a bit of digging to, ensure I have my ducks in a row. So I was going through some of her videos and I'm like, you know what? Let's just react to it tomorrow, because by the time I get to the weekend, I'm gonna have forgotten a lot of the points that I wanted to make. So we have a lot to cover in this stream. We're gonna do some housekeeping. Do I have that on here or did I put it on my phone? It's probably on my phone. We're gonna do some housekeeping, and we are going to react to a couple of her, well, maybe three, maybe if we have time, maybe three of her videos. I have timestamps, y'all. I spent my morning not only working out, but sitting down and actually making sure that I took notes and that I have timestamps so that I can be very concise about what I want to talk about. Do I sound sick? I feel a little mucusy this morning. We're going to get into what we're here for, what we're not here for, who this stream is not for, and whose opinion I don't give a shit about. Y'all know the drill, okay? And we do not have a red banner today because it's not that kind of stream, okay? I never announced that this is a safe space because typically it isn't. And when I need typically if anything changes, I need to emphasize that it's not a safe space. Hold on. I forgot to create my new banner for this. This is the first time. So you guys are in for a treat. Let me see if I can create this on the spot. We're gonna have some ground rules, okay? Not censorship, but some ground rules. I need hold on, give me a second. Let me go back to playing this video real quick while I get this together. This is the last picture. This is another one where it's kind of hard to see the differences for me. This is probably my least favorite. Oh, you know what? I realized I don't have one from the back. Huh, okay. This is probably my least favorite angle because of the bra fat, but I think I see somewhat of that middle roll disappearing. I'm not sure. And it's also hard to tell with the way my shirt is laying. And again, not having the same bra on, the bra is going to pinch the fat differently depending on what bra you wear, how tight it is, and things like that. So it's a bit hard to tell. Okay. So this is probably going to be my best example, this right here. What do y'all think so far before I reveal how much weight I actually lost? What do y'all think? Are y'all standing with y'all original predictions? Less than 10 pounds or 10 to 15 pounds? Reindeer, were you the one that said 13 pounds? Or was it Jen? Somebody said 13 pounds yesterday. 13 pounds. I got a 13 pounds. I think I got 11 pounds. And those were the only ones that gave like exact numbers. Progress shows takes time. I'm down 74 pounds in a year in 3 weeks. Congratulations. Are you still going? Hi, 3 left turns. Are you still going? And yeah, I'm not gonna lie, with this picture, I definitely see a difference. You said 13? Okay. You have such great faith in me. I love it. You said 10 to 15. Okay, you didn't put a number on it. You still going? Okay, cool. Are you going all the way to 100 pounds? Oh, I just realized my ring doesn't fit as much anymore. That's great. All right. Okay, I guess I can stop stalling. I guess. Need to take a break though. Bad news. Do you want to share, or if you don't want to, you don't have to? But I'm assuming because you mentioned it, it might be something that you want to share. All right, so 12 more lips. You got 12 more pounds to lose? Huh. So maybe we'll get into that later because now I'm going to go down a rabbit hole of questions, but thank you for sharing because we definitely want to have conversations about some of the negative side effects. And I want to know more about that if you're willing to share it. Okay, so I got my rosé. Yes, because we're going to celebrate no matter what the results are, right? Like we're going to, whether I lost 2 pounds, whether I lost 18, whether I lost 7 pounds, whatever it is, I'm going to celebrate anyway. And this is probably my only opportunity to have a drink. I don't drink very often. The house I'm at has a bar behind me, but I'm not drinking none of that hard stuff. All right, I bought my own rosé from home. And if you don't have any rosé, go ahead and get you some water. Okay. have us a little toasty toast, and we're gonna get into how much weight I lost in the past 30 days. I guess it's 29 because technically tomorrow will be the 30th day. Okay. All right, here we go. Ooh, you guessed 15. You have so much faith in me. Can y'all see this? Is this big enough? Hold on. I'm sorry. I'm messing up stuff. How do I make this bigger? I don't think I can make it any bigger. Can y'all see? You were close. 3 left turns. I lost 11 pounds in 30 days. I'll say 29, but it's okay. 30 days. Like, let's pretend Monday is here already. So this is a big deal. Okay. Like, guys, like, can we just. Okay, shut up, V. All right. I really enjoyed that Venetian 30. That was so much fun. Oh my God. We should finish watching that. I might premiere that whole entire stream so that y'all have something to watch during work or your workout or something like that. But how long was that stream? 3 hours and 10 minutes? Yeah, I might premiere that. That was a fun stream. That was a fun stream. And it actually might be coincidentally relevant to what we're going to be talking about today, because that was the stream after a 5-month stall where I realized I had control over continuing my weight loss. But, we'll get into some of that. Okay, so we have a lot of time, but we don't have all of the time in the world. So this is my very first green banner stream. Okay, I am Safety Reigns. This is a safe space to be vain. Okay, now let me tell you what we're not going to do today in case anybody, I need my phone stand. Give me a second. If I can find it. Never mind, I don't know where it's at. I don't know where it's at. I don't know where it's at. I don't know what I do with it. It's fine. I guess I'll have to hold this in my hand. Let's get into some housekeeping first. Because I have a lot to go over, I actually didn't even finish making my notes and timestamps, so we may not even be able to get into the third video. And if we don't, I'll just let the topic end where it is. We probably won't have to do like a part 2 or anything. But let's get into some housekeeping first, okay? I'm going to start out with what we're not here for, to be clear, okay? Now, I don't censor on my channel, but I want to be very clear about something. I am not here for bullying, teasing, or judging, criticizing. Feel free to criticize, but I'm gonna need y'all to be nice, okay? Say how you feel, but just keep in mind that I am a content creator and I'm going to be reacting to another content creator. And sometimes we forget that the things that we say in chats can be reflective of the channel that you are commenting on. Okay, so feel free to express yourselves freely, but community guidelines for this channel: be kind, keep an open mind. You can tell the truth, but be nice. Okay, be nice. Don't be dragging nobody in my chat. Don't be, listen, today's not the day. Okay. And we are going to get into the difference between, like, when we get into the topic, we'll talk about how some people don't know the difference between being honest and you actually trying to come for them. Okay. I'm not here for a full Countess breakdown. That's not what I'm doing. I picked a video, one that was recommended to me. In fact, that's the least important one, but we may go over it. And then to do some additional research, I looked at some of her other videos and just took some details out, not took some details out, but I marked some points that I wanted to cover. But it's not a full Countess breakdown, okay? I don't need a Countess expert coming and telling me how I should and should not be doing my live stream. And if you're on the playback, you're already too late. Like, don't write me no books in the comments, because I'm telling you I'm not going to read it. I'm not. Now, this stems from the days where I couldn't see because my vision was too blurry. or whatever. But it's just a rule now. You want to push back against what I'm saying, which there really shouldn't be any pushback because I'm simply giving my opinion. I'm not here to criticize her or judge her or bully her or anything like that. I am just reacting to publicly available content, and sometimes viewers get that twisted. You don't have control over what someone does or says or doesn't do in a public space. Once we as content creators put information out there for the public to consume, it is up for grabs for anybody to give their commentary on. Okay, so please, I'm not here for a full breakdown. I'm not here to argue what her supporters think. Because I don't care for real. And to be honest, I don't care what her supporters think because she doesn't care what her supporters, well, maybe I shouldn't say she doesn't care what her supporters think, but you'll see what I mean, because I left her a couple of comments and she responded to me, and that has her response to me has like explains some of my tone around this, because I originally was going to do this stream with extremely light soft kid gloves. Now, not as much, but it's still a safe space. I am safety reigns, okay? I am safety reigns. This is a safe space. Countess, if she was here, would be able to feel very protected from a place of love in this space, but I'm not about to lie, okay? I'm still about to give my perspective. What I don't care about, okay? We're still in housekeeping. Anybody's opinion of my opinion. I don't care what you think about what I think. And I'm really not really talking to y'all. I'm mostly talking to the supporters. Well, you know, there's some crossover here, so maybe you guys too. But nobody can control my opinion. So I'm doing this stream to give my opinion. You cannot change my opinion unless I say something that is factually incorrect and you want to give me that information, then that would be great. But other than I don't like, if it's I don't like that you feel that way, I'm telling you now I don't care. I 100% don't care on the playback. So if you wanted to tell me that you don't like my opinion, your chance to tell me was in the live stream, and even then I would have just told you I don't care. Only countesses, I always say this whenever I react to another content creator, only the content creator that I'm reacting to, only their opinion matters to me slightly. The more I do these, the more and more I move away from their opinion even mattering. Like whatever, I do the reaction and then I'm done. And I don't go around the space looking for people to react to. Y'all hooligans send me content, and because I have an opinion, which is what you send it to me for in the first place, I give my opinion publicly. But if anybody feels a type of way about me sharing my opinion, the only person I'm actually willing to hear out on that is Countess. But I highly doubt that she would tell me that she has an issue. So, but if she wanted to, the door's always open. Just like y'all seen in real time with Dave on the pen, I could be reacting to him, and the audience is, you know, his audience is reacting one way, trying to defend him, and he's like, I don't know, it's fine. Like, you're doing a great job. You know what I mean? So the door is always open. If I am reacting to someone, the door is always open for them to on the spot drop in and say, hey, you're getting that wrong, or hey, like, you know, whatever, or give their feelings, or we can do it after the stream or on a separate stream. You guys have seen this play out with Dave on the pen, so you know I'm not pulling that out of my ass. If you think I should have asked permission, this is a big one. I always have to use the engagement with Dave as an example, because that was just crazy. Like that was just a perfect example of like the audience trying to dictate how content creators engage with each other, and y'all have no control over that. You have no control over that. Just let it go. Okay, don't come into my comments telling me, well, I think you should have just asked her. Well, I think you should have just emailed her. No, I've tried that. It don't make a difference. It don't matter. Okay, it don't matter. Once something is out there publicly, you get to talk about it publicly. It is what it is. Okay, it just is what it is. So please don't. Oh, you should have collabed with her. Oh, you should have. And again, this is not shade toward Countess. This is just what people have said to me about reacting to other people. Oh, I just don't think you should. But why didn't you? Oh, but this is clickbait. And oh, but why didn't you? Shut up. I don't care. I don't care. Cry me a river. You're better off crying while I'm live. So go ahead and subscribe and turn on your notifications so you can know when I'm live. And that is your chance to cry. Other than that, I don't give a shit. Okay. Now, what are we here to do? I'm here to give my opinion.
It's a solicited opinion. I was gonna say it was unsolicited. It was unsolicited by Countess, but it was solicited by a mutual watcher of both of our channels. So yeah, I was solicited to give my opinion. So I'm going to give my opinion as always. And it's going to be based around not 3.5 years of her content. The very first time I reacted to her, I did my due diligence and I went back to the beginning of her GLP-1 journey to make sure I do my research. I'm not doing that again. If you want to go see that previous live stream, go watch it. I'm just here to talk about her current stance. I am not a regular watcher. I'm not subscribed to her. I'm not a watcher of her channel. So the only time for me to know what's going on with her is when you guys give me an update or send me a video or something like that. And then I have to do a little bit of digging. So I'm not going to have all of the details. I'm just going to comment based on what she has said recently. Okay. I'm not here to be right or wrong. I'm just here to give my perspective. And that's pretty much it. Again, you don't have to agree. If I do say something that's wrong, feel free to correct me. Okay. Nurse Michelle says, I agree. Being real, non-delusional, but genuine and not rude is important, especially for content creator trying to build a diverse audience. I share my honest opinion. I took the comment down because I mean, I share my honest opinion on Lex, thank you Lex, account, and she blocked me. I don't want to talk about other content creators today, but no, that's fine, Michelle, Nurse Michelle. But I don't want to take the subject off what we're talking about. Not that that was your intent. I'm speaking for myself with me reading the comments out loud. So for me as a content creator, I don't want to address another content creator because we're not talking about them, but you guys can feel free to talk about that amongst yourselves in the comments. Okay. I should have read the message in advance. All right. So hey Keto and the Miss, hey girl, and hey everyone else that I might have missed. Who this stream is not for, Countess stands. Everybody in a space that creates content has some sort of stand shit. Jennifer stands me. I don't care what you guys say. Whatever. Okay? Whatever. But if you're gonna but this is not for you. I'm not for or against Countess. Well, I'm rooting for her, but I'm not a fan. Like I don't watch her content. We're gonna watch it today for the sake of the stream, and then that'll be it. So if you're a Countess stan, this is not for you. You're probably not gonna like what I have to say. Anyone that has easily hurt feelings, anyone watching the playback, you should have been here when it was live. If you weren't, hopefully you enjoyed the playback. Okay. If you want to push back or engage with me, yeah, you just gotta catch me when I'm live. Them's the rules. Okay. So I'm gonna start out by reading the comment engagement that I had with Countess yesterday and today. And I just want to say, nothing that I have to say will be personal, except this part here. Like it is, but it isn't. I mean, take it for what you want. I will never try to reach another content creator through the comments again. Like this is why I just mind my business and stay out the way. This is why I just stay out the way. Like, feel free to continue to send me content that you guys want me to see or react to. I appreciate that. But this will be the last time I try to reach a content creator. And I mean a content creator that I don't already have a rapport with. Okay. So like RMZ or G's or Sweet Tea, Delilah, people that I already have a rapport with. And I'm not pitting anybody against each other, but people that are Dave on the Pen that I already have a rapport with, so they know that I don't have any malice between them. I don't mind commenting because they're not gonna they understand who I am and they're not gonna feel any type of way. But if me and a content creator don't already have a rapport, especially in this space, I'm not saying shit else. I'm not saying nothing else. Okay, and you guys are gonna see why. In my opinion, maybe some people may feel it's biased to inject my opinion in advance, but you guys are all adults. You have the ability to form your own thoughts and opinions. And this is my channel, so I'm going to give my opinion. I'm not trying to bias anyone to think my way. Be free thinkers in the chat. But in my opinion, this space is allergic to truth and allergic to perspective. You're not allowed to have either one. in this space. This is why I ain't got no beef. I'm just gonna mind my black business. Like, well, I'ma just mind my business. It ain't got nothing to do with being black. It's just a you know, a phrase that we use. But I'm just gonna mind my business. Like, I wish everybody in the space the luck, or good luck, and I hope everybody finds what they're looking for. But yeah, this will be the last time that I like look at somebody's comment and I'm like, maybe they haven't considered this, and then try to help. Like, I don't want to help. I don't want, they didn't ask for my help. They don't need my help. They don't want my help. They don't care about my opinion, whatever. Okay. So that's where I'm starting out from. Okay. All right. So with that being said, before we actually get into her videos, let's get into the comment exchange that we had recently, and then we will work our way backwards so that we can go through my notes based on the information that's in her videos. Okay. All right. So let's see. I was originally sent this video. Okay. And moderators, as people come in, just remind them of the community guidelines. Okay. And if you don't want to follow the community guidelines today, then today, this is not the channel for you or the stream for you. Okay. Because this is a safe space. This is a safe space. We have a hall monitor today and her name is Safety Reigns. Okay. So this is the video that I was originally sent. And yeah, that's the beginning of it. It's dressing my new body, down 113 pound, GLP-1 loss, fashion over 40 haul, under outfit. I guess maybe that's a brand or something. Okay. So I watched this video, which we will watch probably toward the end, but I'm going to jump ahead and let you know what the comment exchange was first. And then we will come back to the actual video. The only reason is because when I started taking notes on the other two videos, there was so much that I realized I wanted to talk about that I'm like, the try on haul is like the least of my concerns. Like it's the least of my concerns. Okay. So my comment is right at the top, probably because I was the most recent comment or because I'm looking at it from my own channel. But basically this is a try on haul that she did and I watched it. And I was a little concerned after watching the haul, and I'll tell you guys why. This is just my opinion, doesn't mean I'm right or anything. But here's what I said in the comments, which is something that I typically don't do, and this is why I won't be doing it again. Well, this is one of the reasons. I'll show you the other one. So I said, you look great. I think she does. Does try on hauls or shopping in general stress you out? You seem a little overwhelmed. The reason that I asked her that, as you guys will see later when we come back to this video, is that throughout the entire try on haul, she's like hyperventilating or like breathing really heavily. And I'm not the only person in the comments to point this out. Somebody else pointed it out too, and she gave us the exact same response. Now, I mean, I don't know if canned responses is like a normal thing. I mean, I don't know. I don't comment enough to know. I don't think it's a bad thing. It's like, oh, well, what's the point of leaving a comment if your like, I would have been better off with no response, but if your response is going to be something pre-prepared, it's like, I mean, maybe that's normal. I don't know, but she seemed in distress. This is just my personal opinion. I'm not picking on her. She really seemed in distress. Okay. So I'm like, just from my perspective, if this stresses you out, like, well, I was gonna say originally, like, if this stresses you out, maybe you shouldn't do it, but I didn't want to assume, so I asked the question, like, does trying on the clothes or does shopping cause you stress? Because you seem overwhelmed. Like, she seemed worked up. So what she had to say was, I have minimal childcare with summer and I'm working 60 hours a week. I appreciate you thinking about me. XXOO, things will be better, or hugs and kisses. Things will be better when school starts. Now, let me see if that other comment is there so y'all know I'm not bullshitting. This person says, Elizabeth, I noticed lately you are out of breath in your videos. Everything okay? And she gives the exact same response, right? Like it was a prepared response. Okay, that's fine. Whatever. Maybe it means nothing. And I'm sorry, I know that's small on the screen. You guys can't really see it. All right. So she gives that person the same exact response. So I'm like, okay, well, maybe, I don't know. But as I got that response, I was in the middle of another video because I was doing my research. And I just tapped to her very last video that she had posted. I don't know if she's posted again, but it was let me see. It was, yeah, the perimenopause one is the last one. Okay, so it's this video here. So I was in the middle of watching this one and I left another comment. Okay, that is unheard of for vanity. That is unheard of. Like, for me to watch a content creator's, like, watch more than one video and leave more than one comment, that's unheard of. Like, nobody, there's not a single person in the space that will probably, like, that will get 2 notifications from me back to back about me leaving a comment, unless I'm commenting on the same video more than once. But 2 separate videos back to back and they're not 8 months apart, like, no, that doesn't happen. But I was in the middle of doing the research and I'm like, I should leave another comment. I should leave another comment. But then there was a part of me that was like, I shouldn't leave another comment because I never do that. I just don't like this type of engagement. I'd rather talk to the person. But I'm like, you know what? I was worried about her from the first video of the try on haul because she seemed stressed. She seemed anxious. She seemed worked up. So when I got to this video and I was listening to her, I'm like, I have a hunch on why you're so worked up. You know what I mean? Like, I have a hunch. So I decided to share my hunch. Doesn't mean I'm right. I was just sharing my opinion. Okay? Like you guys are freely able to do on my channel. I was just sharing my opinion. I guess I should switch to this one. Does that sound better? Or it doesn't really make a difference? You guys let me know. So let's get into what the comment was here. And then we'll get into reviewing her videos. Now, another strange thing about this is I don't write books, okay? I only did this out of sheer concern, and I was really trying to reach her. I'm like, there's a good chance she won't even read my comment, but in case she does, let me just say what I think, right? So she had mentioned in her video that she has a hard time reading the comments if people like jumble the comment together in one big paragraph. I had the same issue when I was on a higher dose of Zepbound. Well, the first time I switched up to a higher dose, my vision got really, really bad. So I had the same issue. So I understand, and I had to tell people, like, listen, if you write a paragraph, I can't read it. I can't read it. So I need you to, like, break it up so that I can read it. And she said the exact same thing. So I understood, right? I understood what she meant. So this is why my comment looks the way it does. Okay. So I said, and we're gonna get into what I was commenting on when we react to this video. So I said, if you're still trying to lose, then you're not at goal, girly pop. It's okay to have a new goal. I think the contradiction of saying you're in maintenance but also waiting for Retta to lose more is causing you some serious distress. The sooner you allow yourself to be okay with wanting to lose more weight, the sooner you can find a real solution. The reason that I said all of this is because you will see, right, that throughout her videos, more than one, she will constantly say on autopilot, I'm at goal, I'm in maintenance, and then say, I'm waiting on Retta. And also talk about how her clothes don't fit right. Also talk about how she's gained weight. Also talk about how there's certain parts of her appearance that she wants to change for confidence. Now, y'all know we're a little vain over here. This is Safety Reigns. It is a safe space to be vain. Okay, this is a safe space to be vain. So you know we're a little vain over here. We're gonna get into that. But all of these things kind of like contradict each other. And I'm like, on one hand, you're saying you're at your goal weight, but then you're saying you're waiting for Retta to lose more weight. Girl, you're not at your goal. Like, or it's okay to say that your goal has changed, right? You keep saying I'm at goal and waiting on Retta and I'm in maintenance and I need skin removal and I don't like this. Y'all are going to see what I'm talking about, right? So I'm like, if you would just commit to the fact that you want to lower your goal, you would feel much better. But who am I? What do I know? I don't know shit. Don't listen to me, okay? I'm just a random YouTuber out here just sharing my experience and trying to spread the love, okay? Like, I was just trying to help. But let's see what she had to say to me, okay? And if you feel like what I had to say was unreasonable, then let me know. Or out of pocket, let me know. But this is what she had to say in response. Now, this response, I don't believe was pre-prepared or can't. Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to dislike it. But this response was not pre-prepared or canned. I think this was coming from the heart, right? So she says, no, weight has ranges for BMI. Okay. There is nothing wrong with me wanting to be in a lower part of my BMI and still be at goal and still be a goal is what she said. I want to get it right, what she said. I am at goal weight per my plastic surgeon. Also, your 2 comments you have left have both been sideways pokes. Please be considerate. Okay, let me read it again. She says no. Well, let me read it in full context. I said, if you're still trying to lose, then you're not at goal, girly pop. It's okay to have a new goal. So when I say it's okay to have a new goal, how are you interpreting that as me saying that it's not okay to want to be in a lower BMI? I'm saying the exact opposite. I'm actually saying what you're saying, which is it is okay to want that. I think the contradiction of saying you're in maintenance but also waiting for Retta to lose more is causing you some serious distress. I do believe that. It's my opinion. The sooner you allow yourself to be okay with wanting to lose more weight, the sooner you can find a real solution. I said that because I don't think she's okay with admitting she wants to lose more weight, but she does say it without saying it, right? She says no, weight has ranges for BMI. I'm just going to assume I know what she means by that. That weight, that BMI is a spectrum and there are multiple weights on that spectrum is what I think she means. There's nothing wrong with me wanting to be in a lower part of my BMI and still be a goal. I think she's trying to say here, there's nothing wrong with me saying I'm at goal now, but still want to be at a lower BMI. So you're saying what I'm saying, which is it's okay to want to lose more weight. What are you pushing back here for? We're saying the same thing. I am at goal weight per my plastic surgeon. This is going to come up later because this point is diabolical to me. I am at goal per my plastic surgeon. I'm going to save my opinion on that. Also, your 2 comments you have left have been both sideways pokes. Please be considerate. To be clear, I don't poke. In fact, I don't even comment on people's shit that I don't have a rapport with. Like it's very rare. And when I do, it's because someone sent me the video and I'm like, I have a question. Like to the content creator, I have a question or, I got a point of view I want to share. But I promise you 101% of the time, if I comment on somebody's video or stream or whatever that I've never spoken to, it's because somebody sent me the video. And even then, most of the time, I won't even say anything. I'll just watch and give my opinion or whatever. But outside of the comments, okay? I don't poke. I was just trying to help. And because I was doing my research and listening to what she was saying, I was responding to what she was saying, okay? But I'm poking. I'm poking because you're saying you're at goal, you're in maintenance, but waiting on Retta. I'm poking because you're saying your plastic surgeon decided what your goal was, but you're not happy with the way that you look. Okay. All right. Let's see what I had to say in return, and then we'll get into the videos. So I said I had the same issue of not being able to read comments when I got on the higher doses of Zepbound. Gel eye drops worked for me. Maybe that will help. Very considerate, right? I even broke my comment up so it's easier for her to read, and I tried to give her a remedy that worked for me. She could take it or leave it, whatever, okay? I don't poke. It's very easy for intent to be misconstrued through text. I'm simply pointing out that quote unquote goal and maintenance are direct contradictions to waiting for Retta. Waiting for Retta means you have more weight to lose, which by definition is the opposite of maintenance. Being considerate of how you're overwhelmed or of how overwhelmed you seem is why I left 2 comments. But honesty and a different perspective outside of the consensus is always punished in this space. Not her channel specifically, the whole entire GLP-1 space. Let me read that again. Being considerate of how overwhelmed you seem is why I left 2 comments. But honesty in a different perspective outside of the consensus is always punished in this space. I may be more blunt than most, but it's truly from a place of love, because it is. Like, I know a lot of people don't care for Countess, but she doesn't bother me. Like, Countess doesn't bother me. I don't have any issues with her. When I try to reach out and help someone, that is coming from a place of love. I have no reason to dislike her. I don't watch her channel enough to dislike her, and she hasn't done anything to me. I also say your channel helped me when I was getting started on TERS, but I've learned a lot since then. Sometimes we get blinded by everyone nodding and cheering in agreement, and we go in circles saying things that don't make sense. That's not considerate engagement. It's an echo chamber. So if outside opinions aren't welcome, then I get it. Good luck to you. I hope you find what you're looking for. That's it. I'm not even looking for a response. That's what I had to say. Okay? I don't poke. I don't bully. I don't pick on people. I just gave my perspective. If you didn't want it, you didn't have to say anything to it. You could have deleted the comment, or you could have been like, you know what? Thanks for your perspective. I'm good. Whatever, right? But clearly, you're not allowed to be honest or have any perspective in this space, right? The space is literally allergic to it. The space is literally allergic to it. Okay, so I was gonna come into this with extreme kid gloves, but we're gonna go firm kid gloves.
I'm not sure how to help you with that.
Alexa, stop. Like, why are you listening to me? I hate that. Every house that I go to, Alexa just starts speaking when I'm not talking to her. So anyway, let's get into it, okay? We're gonna go into it with firm kid gloves. In fact, actually, y'all know 75 hard, life is P. I already have to go to the bathroom, so I'm gonna go back to playing our intermission video, and then I will come back. Can we just for a moment, right? Like, let me figure out a good way to do this. Okay. That might be a little small, but I need you to see me and hear me clearly, okay? 11 pounds is a big freaking deal. And to be quite honest with you, had I waited until tomorrow, no, that's probably cap. I was about to say that I would be maybe another pound down, but that's probably cap. That's a little bit of cap, okay? And I'm not gonna lie, I think that day, was it yesterday or the day before? I think it was the day before yesterday, where I didn't eat for the day, but it wasn't technically a fast because I had coffee and cream. I think that helped me out tremendously. Otherwise, this would have been closer to 10 or 9 pounds, 9 or 10 pounds, okay? So I don't have the screenshot of when I was at 202 pounds at the start of the challenge because I didn't have my scale. I was using someone else's scale when I was in DC. But since being home, I now travel with my scale. So I have the proof that I'm at 191 and people don't think I'm kind of capping or whatever. So I'm about to have me a little rosé. These people ain't got no champagne flutes. So I got to put my bubbly in a wine glass. Thank you, Sydney. I know you were waiting. Oh my gosh. And okay, shut up, V. All right. So let's get into the first video. I'm not going to have a ton of engagement with the comments because I have a lot of notes to go over. So I promise I'm not ignoring you guys. I'm just trying to stay focused on the stream. But you always have the option. If you really, really need to get my attention, you can just send a super chat. Okay. So let's get into this. Like the stream if you haven't already. Like the stream, like the stream. All right. So I wanted to start out with, I actually don't even know if these are in order. Let me go back to her channel. I think we're working backwards. Yes, we're going to work backwards, right? So we're going to start out with a video from a week ago. And then we're going to work our way up to the perimenopausal video, okay? Whew. Y'all, it's early. I'm tired, but I feel like this is fairly important. I feel like this is fairly important, okay? So as you can see, I was making my way through this video and I have some timestamps, but if you want to watch the video uninterrupted, you can go to her channel and watch it. Yeah, but this is gonna be my own commentary, my own opinion, and there's gonna be a lot of pausing So if you feel like I'm leaving something out or you need further context, just go watch the video uninterrupted. Okay, so I need to be able to see my notes at the same time. Let's get into this. All right, I'm gonna jump ahead to the 9-minute and 50-second mark because that's where my first timestamp is. And the title of this video, you guys don't need to see me, you need to see the video. The title of this video is Maximize Z-Bound Results with this Yale Study Secret. Okay? Now, I've noticed that with Countess in particular, she does a lot of content going over studies, which is great because people need to put that information out. I am not the person to read studies and tell you guys with the latest updates on the surmount studies. Like, I'm not doing all that shit. So it's great that channels are willing to do that and put that information out there. But I've noticed that it seems like every study that she finds, well, let me not be facetious to say every, but whenever I have gone through her content because it was sent to me, there's always something about a study and why that study explains what she's experiencing on Z-Bound, right? So this first minute mark at 9 minutes and 50 seconds, we're going to be talking about weight training and taking supplements to increase BMR. So let her explain. I'm actually going to go back a few seconds before 9 minutes and 50 seconds to let her get into it.
They'd be consuming extra calories. And so by doing these tips that are recommended, again, talk to your healthcare provider. Guys, none of this is medical advice. By doing
Let me see if I sped this up. I did not. Okay.
these tips and talking to your healthcare provider, if it makes sense for you, but for me, has made a big difference in raising my calorie expenditure. Not a crazy amount, but I can eat more and still maintain the same body type, right? And what I had found like a year ago, I'm like, oh my gosh, like I started to notice a difference of like when I'm eating the same amount of food, I am actually starting to gain weight.
Okay. Why did I timestamp this portion of the video? Let me give you guys some context. Countess is what she calls in maintenance or at her goal, right? But she's been struggling, and she's on a 15 milligram dose of Z-Bound. She's been on Z-Bound for 3.5 years. And I honestly think 3 of those 3.5, she's been at the highest dose. Okay. But although she says she's at maintenance, she's in maintenance or at her goal, which I think some of my timestamps, you'll actually hear her say it, so you don't have to take my word for it. But she talks about how like she's struggling on the 15 milligrams. She's struggling with hunger. And in this video, she's talking about a study that came out for one, but she's also talking about how people have to weight train and hydrate and do other things to make sure that they're losing weight, right? Well, in this portion, she mentions increasing weight training to increase your basal metabolic rate so you can eat more, but then noticing weight gain. This is the problem that I have with echo chambers and with audiences. Well, okay, I'm not going to blame the audience for this because listen, whatever, like you're just a viewer, you get to view and comment and participate how you see fit. But the problem with that is content creators will end up saying things that make no sense and get zero pushback. If you're trying to lose weight, well, okay, first of all, if you're in maintenance, it makes sense to eat at maintenance, right? But if you're gaining weight, then you're not in maintenance. That's for one. And if you're not happy with your weight and you want it to go back down, then you're also not in maintenance. And why would you be eating at maintenance? Like that literally doesn't make any sense. So my goal with going through her content is to point out exactly what I was trying to tell her in the comments, which is you're saying contradictory things. And because you're saying so many contradictory things, you can't find a solution. the sooner you admit that you're not in maintenance, you're not at goal, you want to lose more weight, you can focus on the solutions that will get you to weight loss. How is eating more supposed to get you to weight loss? That doesn't make any sense. And then you see eating more is getting you to weight gain. And it's like, it's not clicking for you that, well, maybe you're eating too much, right? Okay. Let's do a little bit of calculating, because from what I've noticed, if anybody knows the answer to this in the chat, you can let me know. From what I noticed, she says that she started out over 300 pounds. I don't know the exact number. She lost 113 pounds, which is where she's at now, but I don't have her current weight. I have her height, I have her age, and roughly where she started. Okay. So this is what I came up with. She says she started out, because we're going to try to figure out what her BMI is. We're going to guesstimate a BMI range, and we're going to guesstimate how much ideally she should be eating. But I'm not a doctor. I'm not a nutritionist. Don't listen to me. I don't know shit. This is literally just from me brainstorming. Okay. Don't take my word for it. She said, one second. She said that she started out over 300 pounds and she lost 113 pounds. Okay. So that means at the bare minimum, I don't know her starting weight, but if you know it exactly, you let me know. At the bare minimum, she started at 301, because that would be over 300 pounds, right? So to be fair, that's the bare minimum. Could be higher. I don't know, but it can't be any lower than 300 pounds. So the bare minimum, she started out at 301 pounds. She lost 113 pounds. So at the bare minimum, she currently is 188 pounds. Are y'all following me? Okay. I'm going to assume you guys are following me. So bare minimum, we don't know her current weight. If she said it, you guys let me know in the chat, but I'm just guessing based on the information she has given, right? And then we'll end up at a range. But this could all be wrong. But again, if you have more information, you let me know. So 301 minus 113, bare minimum, she's 188 pounds at 5'10". She did mention that she's 5'10" and she is 45. So I checked the BMI calculator. She mentioned in her content, so someone may ask, well, why are you concerned about her BMI? She's concerned about her BMI. She mentioned BMI to me in the comment, right? That's why I started out by reading the comment first. So I didn't just go, well, what's her BMI? Let me see if she's obese. No, she mentioned BMI. So I went to go check. When I went to go check what her BMI could be based on being 5'10", 100 roughly at the minimum, 188 pounds, 45, female, I found a couple of different things, right? I found out if she is roughly 188 pounds, she'd be in the overweight category. So that's, not obese, which is good. And I'm like, okay, well, what if my calculation, is off? Well, not that part yet. 188 would be overweight, right? Okay, fine. No problem with that. Whatever. I wanted to know how much weight loss it would take to get to the lower end of the BMI scale, because that's what she mentioned in her comment. She said that. She said there's nothing wrong with wanting to be on the lower end of BMI, right? Okay, fine. So she didn't tell me exactly what that meant. I'm just going to assume it meant lower end of normal. That's what I'm going to assume. It didn't mean underweight, and I'm going to assume it didn't mean overweight. So she said lower end. I'm assuming she meant, instead of lower end of overweight, I'm assuming she meant lower end of normal. So I wanted to know how much weight loss it would take to get there. So starting out at a guesstimation of 188, that would be overweight. If she got down to 178, she'd still be overweight. That'd be like the lower end of overweight. If she got to 168, that would be a normal BMI. But we all know that the BMI is a spectrum, right? So you can be a normal weight within like 30, 40 pounds and be a different BMI. So I'm like, okay, so she'd have to roughly at her height get to 168 pounds to be a normal BMI. I'm assuming she's heavier than that based on the information that she gave. Well, what if she went down to 158? She'd still be in a normal BMI range, not underweight. She'd be a BMI 22. Okay. What if she went down to 148? I'm not saying she should. I'm not saying she has to. I'm not saying she wants to. I'm just saying she said lower end. I'm assuming she meant lower end normal. Okay. This is all a spectrum. So 158 BMI 22, still normal. 148 BMI 21. Now you're at the mid, the needle will be at like the mid normal range. Still got some, some ways to go. 138 BMI 19. That would be low normal. BMI 138 would be BMI 19 low normal, and at the most or at the lowest 130 would be BMI 18, which is like the that's the very end of a normal BMI before you get into being underweight. Okay, so at the most she could get down to 130, 135 pounds, let's say 140 pounds if you want to be safe about it. And she would be perfectly fine. Like she would be in a normal BMI, but she hasn't said what her goal weight is. In fact, she says she's at goal, but we don't know what her goal is, but she wants to be on the lower end of a BMI. I don't know. She's at goal, but she wants to be on the lower end of a BMI. So if she wants to be on the lower end of a BMI, then that's roughly 135 pounds, 5'10". I don't see anything wrong with that, but she didn't say a weight specifically. Okay, fine. She doesn't have to share that information. What we also know is that she said her plastic surgeon stated that she has 10 to 13 pounds of loose skin that would be taken off during surgery. But she stated she's waiting for Retta before getting surgery. Let's see if she goes into that part here. Let's see if she goes into that part here.
And that's quite frustrating. After having weighed over, oh my gosh, like I started to notice a difference of like when I'm eating the same amount of food, I am actually starting to gain weight. And that's quite frustrating. After having weighed over 300 pounds and losing over 113 pounds, to then be like, my calories are going to have, of course, my calories have to change as you lose weight. Of course, your calories change. But to know that basal metabolic rate, that BMR, that's continuing to drop, how I help combat that with the 1-2 punch is mandatory resistance training. That resistance training is going to raise the calories feasibly that I can eat in a day. Now we go back over to, I lose my little guy, about prioritizing that protein. That protein is going to keep us fuller longer, but it helps to fuel the muscles you're burning with resistance training. These go together, right? I mean, they don't have to, but why would you negate the energy from protein that's going to help build muscle? It keeps you fuller longer, specifically for day 5, day 6, day 7, or specifically on Zepbound. But it's helping to burn that more muscle to help with the brain activity. So I go back over to this incredible study with Yale, the brain activity that's happening, that's flipping on the switch, being like, stop, you're full, you've got that appetite suppression, but also.
Okay. She's saying a lot. She's saying a lot. Let me back up. Okay. She's saying a lot. Let me back up, because I thought she was going to get into the portion about her plastic surgeon, but I guess that part is somewhere else. So now we have to back up. Okay. Now we got to back up. Let me get back to my notes real quick. Let me get back to my notes real quick. Okay. So 10 to 13 pounds of loose skin. Let's put a pin in that. All right. Let's finish the guesstimation based on the information that she has given us. So here's my guesstimate. Okay. She's roughly 188 to 210 pounds. How did I get that number? The 188 comes from her at least starting at 301, because she said over 300 pounds, and she definitely said she lost 113 pounds. Well, I just added maybe, let's just hypothetically say she actually started out 20 pounds heavier. Like, let's just throw that in there, right? And then I just rounded up to the 210. So 20 pounds heavier from the 301 would be 321. Okay. So I just threw an extra 20 in there, not to put more weight on her than she had, but we don't know. If you guys know, you tell me. So I just threw it in there so we would have a range to work with. So I'm guessing she's roughly between 188 and 210, but can get as low as 130, BMI 18 on, and still be at a normal BMI for her height. That means that if she's between 188, 200, 210, she can lose. This is just me throwing this out there. This is just me throwing this. This is not based on the eye test. This is based on the BMI chart and the numbers that she has given. So if these numbers are incorrect, then why be vague? You know what I mean? Like if you're going to be vague, then you leave people to guess. Okay. But she brought up BMI. So this is what we're doing. So whether she's 188, 210, 200, she could lose roughly 50 to 70 pounds at 5'10" from where she's at and still be in a normal BMI. We don't know the exact numbers because she didn't give us the exact numbers. Okay. From what I understand, but if I'm wrong, correct me. I've heard some of you guys say she wants to lose 10 pounds on Retta. I did not hear her say this. I heard her say she wants to get on Retta, but I didn't hear the number. Some of y'all told me it's 10 pounds, but if you know more, if you know better, you let me know. She says she wants to lose roughly 10 pounds on Retta. So that would bring her somewhere between 178 and 200 pounds minus 13 pounds of loose skin from skin surgery. Okay, so let's say she's 188 now and she loses another 10 pounds on Retta and then loses another 10 to 13 pounds of loose skin from surgery. That would put her final goal anywhere from 165 to 187. Bare minimum 165 based on what she's given us. That would be normal BMI 23. I don't see anything wrong with that. Or if we go with the higher guesstimate, roughly 20 pounds higher, that would put her at roughly 187 after Retta, after skin surgery, if her numbers are correct, or the bare minimum that she's given us. And she'd be at an overweight BMI of 26. Okay. Here's what I have to say about this. Fear of being vain about the weight and the aesthetics that we want is why we have to jump through hoops, or that she wants, is why we have to jump through hoops to find out what her goal actually is, because she won't just say it. Are we entitled to that information? No. No. We're not entitled to it. But if you're gonna put little its and bits out there, I'm a its and bits my way into guessing because you brought up BMI. This is a safe space to be vain. A fear of being vain, a fear of being perceived as vain is why we have to jump through these hoops, because she won't just come out and say that she wants to lose more weight. She won't just come out and say it. Instead, she'll say 5 things that contradict each other and you have to read between the lines. And I'm very good at reading between the lines. Like, I'm very good at just stating the obvious. Like, girl, you're not at goal. You're not in maintenance. It's okay. Like, you want to lose more weight. That's why you keep talking about Retta. Like, I don't listen. To be clear, you guys can talk about it amongst yourselves in the comments, but I don't care about whether or not she wants to be on Retta. I don't know nothing about the Retta studies. I don't know nothing about who's qualified to get it and who's not. I don't know what's too low of a BMI to start Retta versus who does. Like, I don't care about any of that. So I'm not here to say, oh, she doesn't qualify for Retta. She shouldn't be on Retta. They shouldn't give her Retta. I don't know. I don't care about none of that. I literally don't care. But based on the information that I have, she can lose roughly, we don't know exactly. Could be more, could be less, but she could lose roughly 50 to 70 pounds, whether it's through a higher dose of Zepbound, whether it's through Retta. I don't care about the method. I'm just pointing out that she's contradicting herself, and I think that it's causing her some distress. So I'm not here to debate whether or not she should be on Retta. I don't give a shit about that. Retta's not out. If she gets on it, she gets on it. If she doesn't, she doesn't. I'm just trying to point out, why are you saying you want to get on it, but also saying you're at goal? We're going to talk about letting your doctors determine what your goal is, because I don't know what type of Delulu land y'all are living in. I don't know where y'all living, but we're going to get into some of that. Okay. So drop a green heart in the chat if you are following me so far. If I'm talking too fast or if it's not making sense, then you can drop a red heart. All right.
and let me know what if there's something you need me to clear up. And if you have something really important you need to say or a really important question, then to get my attention, you are going to have to send a super chat today. All right. So I feel like in this video, she's talking about the Yale study, and I get the impression that she's searching for answers for the individual, which is herself, in studies when these are done on large groups of people, right? So you're supposed to, in my mind, you're supposed to take the individual. You're supposed to take the information that applies to the masses and then tailor it to you as an individual, or it may not apply to you as an individual at all. Like you may not be like a focus group on or a study on women with PMOS, that don't apply to me. The information may be good, but that I can't apply that information to my life necessarily unless there's something in there that specifically applies to something specific I'm going through, like oh, insulin resistance or something like that. And I can take their information on insulin resistance and apply that to my life. But in general, a study on PMOS is not going to help me, or a study on let's say postpartum depression is not really going to help me at this phase in my life, right? She looks at these studies and says, oh, I think that's me. Oh, I think that's me. Oh, I think that's me. And I think that's why she can't find answers. Now, let's jump to the 13-minute mark. This is where my next timestamp is. Okay. I'll actually go a couple of seconds before so we can see how she gets into what she's talking about.
Hyper responders, meaning they're losing weight very quickly, are like,
it took everything in me to not timestamp the hypo and hyper responder conversation. I have talked about that so many times that I just was like, you know what? I'm going to let it go. I'm just going to let it die.
Yes, actually, I do need to lean into this of I'm not eating enough. So I'm going to do things like I'm going to have to drink maybe some of my protein and my calories through protein shakes, bone broth, clear protein drinks. There's some other methods and hacks that I've talked about in other videos, but this is dependent on if you're a hyper responder or a hypo responder. There's different methods to treat obesity as a disease. By the way, it's genetics. And I talked about that all in the video of if you're a hypo, hyper. Some of it is also, we do have to take accountability as well. Like some people, which I don't think that's predominantly most people. I think that some people it's,
my bad. Did y'all catch that? Well, in case you didn't, I'm going to go back and I'm going to play it faster. Okay. I'm going to go back and I'm going to play it faster. Listen to what she says about treating obesity as a disease, it being genetics, and accountability. How it's also accountability, but not for most people. Let's run it back. I'm going to play it just a little bit faster. Just a wee bit faster. Yeah, just a wee bit.
about another video.
Okay, so let's put this on 1.5. It's gonna happen real fast. If this is messing with your ADHD, I'm sorry.
But this is dependent on if you're a hyper responder or a hypo responder. There's different methods to treat obesity as a disease. By the way, it's genetics. And I talked about that all in the video of if you're hypo, hyper. Some of it is also, we do have to take accountability as well. Like some people, which I don't think that's predominantly most people. I think that some people, it's their genetics with it as well. Number 4.
Okay. This space is allergic to honesty. How's she going to put accountability out there on the table and then reel it back immediately? That's what happens when you're afraid to disappoint your audience. In my opinion, okay? That's what happens when you're afraid to break from the consensus. That's what happens when everybody in unison is, it's not my fault. It's not our fault. It's not our fault. The genetics, the study, it's not our fault. We're doing so great. We're doing all the work. We're doing all the things. Like she threw the accountability in there and then quickly took it back. That's content creator mode. That ain't being, in my opinion, that's not being genuine. I'm not judging her for it. I'm just pointing it out. So let's go over my notes for this section. Okay. She said, treating obesity as a disease, it's genetics. You're right. It's actually 70% genetics, which I know the people that typically watch my channel is going to be like, V, you go hard against the genetics. I do. But it's for a reason. If you want to know the truth, it's 70% genetics. Like 70%
of the cause of obesity is genetics. Okay. So what's that other 30%? It's a lot of shit is the answer. It's a lot of shit. It is physiology. It is the environment. It is your habits. It is nurture, not just nature. Nature would be your genetics. It is your gene expression, which is, I've heard it described as your genetics load the gun, your gene expression pulls the trigger, or your environment pulls the trigger. Okay, so these things go hand in hand. So when it comes to, oh, it's your genetics, yes. If you had obese parents, you are likely to be obese as a child, right? That doesn't mean you have to stay obese, but yeah. If you are obese, there's a good chance that you can end up with obese children, but you could also not, right? So this is not a 100% one for one thing, but yes, you are susceptible to obesity based on your genetics, but you are not bound to obesity based on your genetics. And the reason why I go hard against the genetic component is not to be dismissive of the genetic component. It is the majority component. The reason I go so hard is because people use the genetics as a scapegoat because they don't want to address the other 30%, right? The other 30% that what? We have control over. The other 30% that what? We have control over. People want to ignore the other 30% and say, but it's my genes, it's genetic, it's my genes, and it's like, so to be a little bit of not an asshole, but to kind of snap people out of it, I'm like, no, it's not your genetics. No, it's not. Let's talk about the part that matters, because you're being a victim. You're being Captain Obvious to say, yeah, but it's my genes. Yeah, but it's my genes. I have no control over that. Yeah, but it's my genes. Well, let's talk about what you have control over. Okay, because the color of your eyes aren't going to change. The color of your skin isn't going to change. Your height isn't going to change once you've fully grown. The number of fingers that you're born with isn't going to change. The size of your stomach isn't, well, it can change if you stretch it out. The number of fat cells that you have isn't going to change, but you can control the size of those fat cells. Okay? All right? So yes, do I go hard against the genetics? Yes, but not because it's not important, but because people are leaning too heavily into the part of the equation that they cannot control. Okay, so what about the parts that you can control? Yes, right? I can't control whether I have 2 or 3 billion fat cells, but I can control the size of my fat cells, right? I can do that. Okay, so she says treating obesity as a disease, it's the genetics. Okay, so we know it's about 70%. Okay, fine, genetic people. It's 70%. 70% of the problem is your genetics. Okay, you're genetically flawed. All right. If it's 70% of your problem, it's 70% of my problem. And guess who ain't obese no more? Guess who's not obese? So what happened? Did Zedbound just turn off the genetics? Is that what happened? Did eating a certain way and working out just turn off the genetics? Is that what happened? No, that's not what happened. Okay. So she says it's also about accountability, but not for most people. So how do we know who's the most and who's the few? Who's the many, who's the few? How do we know who should be held accountable and who should be just patted on the back? Oh, it's just your genetics. It's okay. It's going to be fine. It's just your genetics. It's just your genetics. So how do we know? How do we know who to hold accountable and who not? How do we know? If we agree 70% of the problem is genetics, that's going to apply to everyone, right? If you're obese, you're 70%, 70% of the issue is that you're genetically flawed. You're fucked up. Okay. You lost the genetic lottery. Blame your parents and your grandparents. They suck. They hate you, actually. So, okay. All right. That's fine. But she did slip accountability in there. So let's say accountability applies to that other 30% plus some other things, right? Plus plenty of other factors. Who's the many and who's the few? Who gets to be held accountable and who doesn't? Do you guys know?
I don't know. I just say everybody should be held accountable, except children. Children can't take care of themselves. They are the only children, fetuses, babies. They are the only ones. And I say fetuses and babies because babies can be born obese, right? Like they can be born too big. So children don't have any control, even adolescents, even teenagers, they don't have any control over what they're eating. Like, yeah, if you give your kid money, can they go out and eat what they're going to eat? Yeah, but like some of that can be chalked up to education, how you raise them at home, and just kids being kids, right? So all of the children, all of the kids, we're gonna exclude them from this. They don't have any control over what they're being fed for the most part, okay? You can't blame an obese baby for being obese. They don't feed themselves and they can't get up and go work out. All right. So therein lies that 70% of genetics right there. The other 30%, that's your parent. That's your parent. That's your parent. That's the doctors. That's the environment. That's the insulin. That's that's everything else. Okay. But behavior and accountability is not a part of that. You can't hold a baby accountable. You can't. You can try to hold your teenager accountable, but you got to teach them the right things first, right? We ain't going to get into all of that. So anyway, she admits that to some extent, this is accountability. I would just like to know, who do we hold accountable? Who do we not hold accountable? I think the reason that she pulled back and was like, well, that doesn't apply to most people. So most people don't have to be accountable. Okay. Alrighty then. Let's go a little further to 14 minutes and 15 seconds. I'm just going to let it play because we're almost there anyway. Let me slow it down just a bit.
Super, super important is hydrating.
Let me slow it down just a little bit.
I think people forget this one quite frequently. Do you have your water? I actually threw my water bottle. I'm just going to have some Pellegrino as I was out here. Hydrating, because it can lead to fatigue and it can lead to stalling your metabolic system. That's not in a scientific way, but it's true. Of like, it's gonna make you really tired if you're not drinking. If you're very full, for me, when I get very full, the first thing that clocks out is sipping on my water, which is why I have my water with me all the time to remind myself, okay, just take a little sip. A little sip here, a little sip here, sip, 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 leads to actual making sure I'm not getting dehydrated and also not stalling. My body needs water and not to be dehydrated while it's doing this weight loss process. Weight loss is a stress on the body. And so for me, also part of it, and this may not be for you, but for me, very applicable, of weighing over 300 pounds, there's a lot that I've had to work on. The mindset, the brain mindset component of this is that I would reach for food when I'm not hungry. It was a habit. Still, 3.5 years later, I still continue to work on this. I'm a turtle, fellow turtles unite, of I reach for food. It's not the food that I'm looking for. It's that dopamine hit of like, I'm learning and have learned.
Okay. So she admits that she has a problem with eating. She has a problem with food. We know this from the first time I covered her. I went back in her channel and she was more upfront about that back then, about suffering from some issues. So with that being said, the only thing I have to say about this, as a person that struggled with my eating too, and still continues to, reaching for food when not hungry, therapy and habit building is what helps with that. Cognitive behavioral therapy. I'm not a doctor, but that's what I utilize. CBT, habit building, discipline, all of these things that fall into the accountability category. So while we're telling people that most of us shouldn't be accountable, when it comes to emotional eating, which is what she's describing, emotional eating, right? I'm not hungry, but I'm looking for a dopamine hit. That's emotional, right? When we're dealing with that, talk therapy, working with a professional, changing your behaviors, developing some discipline, right? I don't think you can strong arm your way out of emotional eating. It's a multi-step process where you have to use multiple avenues of, help and tools at your disposal. But somehow we're ending up at HRT. I forgot to mention. No, I'm sorry. HRT is the next stream. Let me leave that out. For this point specifically, she's talking about suffering from just eating her, because she feels like eating, right? Which a lot of us have done and suffered from. And she says she continues to suffer. Right. Because you have to do more than just get on Zepbound to deal with that. You have to do more than just get on Zepbound to deal with that. So that's what I will say about that portion. We're going to jump ahead to another minute mark, 15:45, and we're not that far away from it, so I'm just going to let her continue on.
And still continue to learn. If I'm going to grab for something, grab for some water, grab for some sparkling water, grab for my electrolytes. There's a ton of stuff I can grab for. And so that hydration component, I think it's.
Let me address this comment. If we can all just be more accountable, then do we need GLP-1s? I feel like, hey nerd, I feel like this is a misrepresentation of what I'm saying. Because I'm saying do both. She's saying the majority of people don't even need to do the accountability part. I'm saying do both. So when you say if we can all just be more accountable, we can all just be more accountable, whether you're on a GLP-1 or not. A lot of the time, the GLP-1 crowd will remove accountability and then be upset when they don't get results. I don't care either way. I'm just pointing out the contradiction. If people want to feel like they don't need to be accountable and that the GLP-1 just needs to do the heavy lifting, then good luck to you. Like good luck to everyone that feels that way. Listen, I just want everybody to be successful and be happy. Okay, nerd, I got you. But like, I think that saying that accountability doesn't apply to most of us is why some of y'all gonna stay big. Not you, nerd. But that's why some of y'all gonna stay big with or without a GLP-1. And I have to always add in the people that are not on GLP-1s because they watch my channel. They participate in the comments with you guys. They are Venetians and they are seeing success. Just like there are people on GLP-1s that are seeing success. So it's like, so far, the only difference, the major difference, not only, but the major difference I see between the people that are and aren't seeing success are the logic, is the logic that the people that aren't seeing success or the success that they want to the extent that they want to see success. The only difference I see between the groups of people is the logic wheel and mental gymnastics that they do to convince themselves that they are not part of the problem. So do with that what you guys will. Do with that what you will. But in my opinion, a lot of the GLP-1 people have a bad habit of saying, but it's not me, I'm doing everything right. And she's going to get into that some more. And that's why I'm saying what I'm saying. Okay. Okay, let's continue.
Frequently lost, but it does need to be for me. I'll use my students. I need to make sure it's part of.
One more. Nerd says we should 100% need more accountability. I think that some of us need higher doses despite their efforts. My level of accountability doesn't have to look like someone else's. Nobody said that. Okay. I'm not telling anybody how to be accountable. I'm just suggesting that it's preposterous to suggest that most people don't have to be, which is what she said. That's what she said. She's the one that said that doesn't apply to most of us. So that's what I'm addressing. As far as some people needing a higher dose, that's not what we're discussing. Nobody is saying anything against needing a higher dose. Nobody said that. Nobody even brought that up yet. She's on the highest of highest doses. Okay. So why is she not seeing success? Because I could be willfully obtuse and say, well, she's on the highest dose. Why is she not getting the results she wants? Right? Like that would be leaving out additional context. Just like saying, well, some people just need a higher dose. It's like, who said they didn't? Nobody said that they didn't need a higher dose. So if her only problem is that she needs a higher dose of Zepbound, then she's out of luck until a higher dose of Zepbound comes out. But if that's the case, let's not get on her about wanting Retta. If we all just need stronger medication, not all, but like if some of us just need stronger medication, then it should be fine that she wants to be on Retta. There should be no pushback about that. So let's continue.
My treatment plan of having that water nearby, because that also helps with all of these other bodily functions that are going along with it too. So again, none of this is medical advice, but I think with using our brain chemistry with this, of what our brains are actually doing, but also with the added brain benefits of then how do we maximize our weight loss? Well, it goes back to those simple steps. It's not always easy, but it is hard. I've got to eat my protein. I've got to resistance train or weight train. I've got to make sure I'm drinking my water. And I've got to work within a calorie deficit if I'm in weight loss. Now I'm in maintenance, and so my calories are different. I'm going
to let her finish like a little bit more. She just said what I said earlier, which is why I'm doing the stream, because she says one thing and then she says something different immediately after, because she's trying to hold on to two different points of logic. Like she's trying to hold on to two different theories at the same time, and it's pulling her in different directions. She just said, for me to lose weight, I have to eat less calories. That's what she said. And she's like, well, but I'm in maintenance, so my calories are different. Are you? Are you in maintenance? Let's go back a little bit and let her finish.
Well, it goes back to those simple steps. It's not always easy, but it is hard. I've got to eat my protein. I've got to resistance train or weight train. I've got to make sure I'm drinking my water. And I've got to work within a calorie deficit if I'm in weight loss. Now I'm in maintenance, and so my calories are different. My dietitian, my registered dietitian, has me eating different calories also because I'm weight training. The other component of this within that calorie deficit is high fiber.
I just talked about this. Okay, nerd. I just talked about this. She said my diet. Okay, I don't want to get stuck on this point, but this is so important. This is so important that I might have to cut this portion out of the stream and upload it as its own video. Come here, Lindas. Listen, Lindas. Come here. This is very, very, very important. Okay? Listen to what I'm about to say. She said, my dietitian has me eating more calories because I'm in maintenance. She just said that, right? I'm in maintenance, so my calories are different. My dietitian has me eating more calories because of my weight training. I just did a stream about this. How it can be very difficult to try to put on muscle and lose body fat at the same time. You can do both, but it's very difficult because the calorie needs are different. In order to put on muscle, you need to somewhat eat in a surplus. In order to lose weight, you need to somewhat, not completely, okay, not in a traditional sense, but somewhat eat in a deficit, right? Her dietitian has her eating to maintain her muscle or even to put on muscle. But she understands that that's logically flawed if she wants to lose more weight. But she's not willing to admit that she wants to lose more weight, therefore needs to eat less. Here's the important part. It can be I don't want to say dangerous. It can be against your best interests to only appeal to authority, meaning your doctors, whether it's a teacher, a professor, an employer. You have to be able to think for yourself alongside the guidance of professionals. If you put your entire life in the hands of professionals only and you don't think for yourself, then your life and your body will turn out the way that they think it should be versus how you think it should be. A dietitian is a support system and a tool. I support using dietitians. An obesity specialist is a resource and a tool. Okay, your doctor, a plastic surgeon, is a resource and a tool. They are not the final say on everything that happens in your weight loss journey. Zepbound is a resource and a tool. Just because Eli Lilly says that the average is 22% across the study doesn't mean that you're only going to lose 22%. That's just the average. You could lose more, you could lose less. Okay. You're going to notice that Countess has a habit of saying, well, this is what my dietitian said. This is what I'm going to do, even though it contradicts what her actual goal is. This is what my plastic surgeon said. This is what I'm going to do, even though it contradicts what her actual goal is. When it comes to your weight loss journey, weight gain journey, health journey, whatever journey you're on, and you are seeking out the help of professionals, you should take into consideration what they have to say because they have gone to school, they have done the work, they have practical experience. You should take all of that into consideration. But that's not where the buck stops. The buck stops with you. You have to do Countess does all of this research. She does all of this research, puts out all of this information and applies none of it. She applies none of it and will just say at the end of the day, but this is what my doctor said. This is the information I found. And I do think she gets a little wrapped up in the research. I do think that, but she'll do all of this research she'll have some idea of what she should be doing and then say, well, I'm doing it this way because this is what my dietitian and my surgeon said. And it's just like, are you getting surgery right now? Or like, are you preparing for surgery? Because if you're not, why are we doing what your surgeon is saying? And I know that's going to sound controversial to some people, but you will hear her say that, yes, she plans to get surgery, but she wants to get on Retta first. Okay, so if we're not preparing for surgery right now, why do we care where your surgeon says your goal is? How is your surgeon defining your goal? Like whatever they put your goal at, that's the bare minimum for them to give you surgery. That's not the most you're able to lose. So if you want to lose more weight, then you should put the surgery off, which she's saying she's doing because she's waiting for Retta. But at the same time, she's saying, yeah, but I'm in goal, I'm in maintenance, I'm in goal, I'm in maintenance because my surgeon said so. Which one is it, girl? Either you're in maintenance, you're not actively trying to lose weight because you reached your goal and now you're ready for surgery. You're going to maintain it and then you're prepared for surgery. Or you're not ready for surgery because you want to keep losing weight and you think Retta is going to help you keep losing weight. Which one is it? Both of those things can't be true at the same time. And she's trying to make both of them true, which is why she keeps contradicting herself. So the important part is, yes, listen to your medical team. Yes, listen to the health professionals in your life. But that doesn't mean they have the final say on everything. They don't know everything, especially a dietitian, especially a health coach, especially a nutritionist. They don't know everything. They have multiple people that they're dealing with. Just like these studies, these things are applied in general. In order to get very specific about what works for you in your life, you have to take some accountability. You have to educate yourself. You have to do a little bit of trial and error and see what's going to work for you and what's not. All of the answers aren't in the professionals. Like it is 2026, which is crazy because I'm one of the people that watched her channel when I was starting out with my journey. I learned things from her that I did not learn from the professionals. The professionals weren't even caught up yet. They weren't even caught up yet. So I was able to avoid some of the mistakes that she made because she shared her experience. But if I had only listened to the professionals, I'd be where she is. So it's like, you got to do both. You have to do both. Like you have to listen to what the professionals are saying, but everything has to be in context. If you're not ready for surgery, what your surgeon has to say only applies when you're preparing for surgery. If you're still losing weight, your plastic surgeon is not an obesity specialist. They are not a weight loss specialist. They are a plastic surgeon, okay? And they may be able to tell you it's dangerous to go under the knife at 300 pounds. They may be able to tell you the more weight you lose, the easier your skin surgery will go. They may be able to tell you that. But they don't get to tell you what your final weight loss goal is. You're telling me, fussing at me, basically, like, yeah, I'm at goal, but I want to lower BMI. Then you're not at goal. You're at your surgeon's goal. You're at surgery goal. You can put that off if you want. You already agreed to put it off. Okay, you already agreed to put it off. So so just say you have a new goal. Like, I'm just saying we got to do both, people. Like you got to take some accountability for your journey and be able to make decisions for yourself alongside what the professionals are saying. I'm not saying ignore them, but you got to be able to think for yourself. There's plastic surgeons out there that do plus size tummy tucks and shit. You want to know what's in my notes, Nicole? Okay. So maybe I shouldn't say it. Maybe I shouldn't say it. But we're gonna come back to that point. Okay. So let's just get into the difference between maintenance versus a plateau. Okay. Because Countess is not in maintenance. She's not in maintenance. She's in a plateau. She's not in maintenance. These are different things. Okay. I know it's gonna hurt somebody's feelings. I know it might even hurt her feelings, but girl, I'm only here to help. I'm only here to help. That's why I'm doing it on my channel instead of in the comments, because you don't give a shit about what I have to say anyway. Okay. There's a difference between like hear me in the GLP-1 ether, because she's not the only one that does this. There is a difference between a maintenance and a plateau. Okay. There is a difference. So let's get into what the differences are. Maintenance is voluntary. It's intentionally maintaining your weight. You are intentionally, actively working to not gain or lose any weight. Okay? That's what maintenance is. Now you may fluctuate, up a couple pounds here and there, but you're active, because maintenance is not a sedentary activity. You have to actively maintain your weight. Okay? So that's active. You are working to maintain a weight or a weight range, right? That's what maintenance is. You don't really want to gain, you don't really want to lose, you're happy with where you are, and you're just doing what you need to do to keep your weight at that point, right? A plateau is different. A plateau is different. A weight loss plateau is when your weight stops changing. I'm going to add this portion, against your will. Am I being unfair? If I am, let me know. A weight loss plateau is when your weight stops changing against your will. The reason that I'm saying against your will is because we typically call it a plateau when we're purposefully trying to change our weight up or down, because some people want to gain weight, not everybody wants to lose, but in this case, lose weight. When you're trying to lose weight and you can't, you're trying, as people say, doing all the things, you're trying, but it's not working. That is a plateau. That's not maintenance. That's not maintenance. She clearly wants to lose more weight, which is why she's waiting on Retta. If you know the second you get Retta, you're going to keep losing weight, you're not in maintenance. You're not maintaining your weight on purpose. You're not maintaining your weight. You just can't lose no more. Like, you just don't know how to lose any more weight, which is fine. We can address that, but that's not maintenance. And you're definitely not at your goal. You're at your surgeon's goal, but we're going to come back to that. So I just wanted to clear up for everybody out there in the GLP-1 ether, maintenance and a plateau are not the same thing. If you know you actively want to lose more weight, or you want to put on a significant amount of weight, you're not in maintenance. That's not what maintenance is, okay? So let's skip ahead. Let's skip ahead to 1855. Okay. If you want to go watch this video of hers uninterrupted, you can just go to her channel, and that's where you will be able to find it. Let's continue.
Talk about for me of having been on these medications now for 3.5 years. Let me go back over to my notes. Is that there's this GLP-1 helper that talks to the little helper. GLP-1s talk to the little helper in the car. I think because I've been on GLP-1s now for the last 3.5 years, and I've mentioned this before, I have more food noise than I've had previously. It's not that the GLP-1s aren't working. My body's become acclimated to the medication, and there's nothing higher that is on the market right now, higher than Zepbound 15 milligrams, and I won't take gray market. You do you. You do you. For me, I'm not taking that until it gets FDA approved. Just going through, I like to have the data. I'm a data nerd. I want the scientific channels to have the data backing of like going through the process of science with that. And so with having this study, it's interesting to me that I think my talkers or my little helper has gotten quieter or smaller or whatever you want to say. This little helper has changed. It wasn't.
Okay. Okay. All right. More food noise, meds not working, body being acclimated. If you missed it, you need to subscribe and set your notifications, because I just talked about this yesterday. Okay. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it was a couple streams ago. I just talked about this. She's describing tolerance. That's called tolerance, girly pop. That's called tolerance, girly pop. This is proof of what I was saying the other day, which is being on the higher dose, going into maintenance doesn't guarantee, like, staying on a higher dose doesn't guarantee that you will continue to see success, or that you will even be able to maintain your success. Okay. Like, the studies are being done on maintenance for this reason, because there are people that are on the higher doses that are gaining weight. How is that possible? Well, when you have a receptor agonist, or you're stimulating receptors, what happens? You build up a tolerance. Again, I don't know why this is not discussed in the GLP-1 space. I don't know why the doctors aren't talking about it. I don't know why this is like the elephant in the room that everybody's like, just when you're done losing weight, just go into maintenance and don't titrate down and don't get off and don't do this. And yeah, everything will be fine. And it's just like, she's on the 15 milligram. She's been on the 15 milligram for 3.5 years. That's called tolerance. That's normal. Okay. That's normal. That makes perfect sense that you would have more flu noise, that you would be more hungry. She talked about the fact that her body is just acclimated, and it's not that the medication is not working. It's both, actually. It's both. You've gotten used to it. That's what happens. And I'm not even blaming her for this, but what I'm saying is Countess she clearly knows this, because she said that's my body getting, maybe she doesn't know to what extent that she's right, but it's almost like she's saying it like, oh, well, it's not my fault. No, it's not. But like, what you're experiencing is normal. So you might need to consider some other options. Like you might need to consider what is within your control, since you don't want to get off the medication, right? I'm not suggesting that she does, but I'm just saying that's where the whole accountability part comes in. You're doing all this research. Why are you not researching what part of this is within your control? Okay. For the record, this is why I plan to cycle off and on of Zepbound. Like, this is off and on. This off on when I'm done losing weight. This is why. Because this is not her fault that she's experiencing this. Like, this is going to happen to people one way or another until Eli Lilly or whoever's doing the studies figures out the appropriate way to do maintenance. This is people forget that Mounjaro's only 10 years old and Zepbound is only 3 years old or something like that. We're just like, some people that have been on Mounjaro since 2020, they are just now getting information that they didn't have in 2020. Some people that got on in 2021, 2022, they're just now their studies are just now coming out. So the information is changing kind of on the fly. Anyway, let's continue. So somebody, Nerd had mentioned earlier a higher dose. Okay. How was a higher dose supposed to help her? Some people just need a higher dose. Okay. And I'm not picking on Nerd. This was already in my notes. It just so happened that this was mentioned. Okay. The question that I have in my notes is, how was a higher dose supposed to help her? Okay. So they come out with, let's say, an 18 milligram. She gets on an 18 milligram. Okay. Then what? They come out with a 22 milligram. Okay. Then what? They come out with a 28 milligram. Okay. Then what? You understand what I'm trying to say? So it's like, I'm team use the higher doses if they're available to get the weight off. Okay. Like I'm team use the higher doses if they're available to get the weight off. That's fine. I'm not against that. But what she's experiencing now was going to happen whether she was done losing weight or not, because that's the nature of a receptor agonist. That's the nature of repeatedly flooding your receptors with a medication. We're all going to, unless another answer is like, unless somebody comes up with an answer, we're all going to experience this at some way, in one way or another. For example, Jennifer, let me throw Jennifer under the bus because that's my girl. This is a safe space. I am safety reigns. I will protect Jennifer and Countess equally at all costs. Okay. So Jen's on a 15 milligram. When I was watching this video, I had to ask her, I'm like, what would you do if your hunger came back on a 15 milligram? She's like, I'm always hungry. I'm like, oh, okay. How do you manage it? She says, I get full easier, or I get full quicker. Now, Jen is not trying to lose any more weight. Again, the girls that are losing and the people that have already lost, we're not the same people. Okay. We're not the same people. So she says, I just get full quicker. So Jen is in a position, because she's already lost her weight, where she gets hungry. She can eat when she wants, and she can stop when she's no longer hungry. I think that that's perfectly fine. That sounds perfectly normal to me. The problem comes in when you have someone like a Countess that is on the higher dose, suffering from hunger, and they're not done losing weight. Okay.
So that's where the dilemma comes in. Now, she said the little helper changed, talking about the little helper with the GLP-1. And I have in my notes that that's called tolerance. Like, that's your receptor down regulating. Like, it happens. That's what happens. She talked about gaining weight in maintenance. She talked about how people are being mean to her, saying that you're not supposed to gain weight in maintenance. Okay. But it's kind of true though. Like, you're not maintaining if you're gaining. That's like the opposite of maintenance. So how much weight are you gaining? How much weight are you gaining? You understand what I'm saying? So I don't know about that part. Let her finish a little more so I can get to the next part of my notes. But let me look at your comments. Sweet Tea says I went from 15 to 16 milligram. It was helpful. I'm not suggesting that titrating up doesn't help. I'm saying we can't titrate up forever. So we got to have other answers. That's the point that I was trying to make. Eli Lilly did do a study and it said that people need to stay on a GLP-1 or they will regain the weight. Eli Lilly did a study that said some people will regain the weight. Most people will regain the weight. Some people don't. What's the difference between those people? That's what they're trying to figure out now. You're right, then Retta. But I think for some people there is that dose or level. It could be that she needs split dosing as well. I don't know what MTG is, Shani. Am I having a slow moment? Oh, you're missing some good stuff. Okay. Yeah, splitting her dose may help her because she talks about her appetite being suppressed around shot day. Jen told me she would go all the way to 20 milligram TERS before she would take Retta. That hit hard, but I took her advice. I am not, okay. I mean, y'all can go all the way up to 45 Zepbound for all I give a damn. Listen. I think it's a logical question to ask, what are you going to do when you run out of doses? What are you going to do if Eli Lilly comes out with 3 more levels of doses, so you have 3 more levels of wiggle room, you still end up back where you were on the 15 milligram, which is eventually that dose won't be as strong. And then what? Nobody has an answer for, and then what? And you know what? We're just a bunch of patients. Maybe we're not supposed to have the answer. But I just feel like when I ask the question, I get a lot of, yeah, but the higher doses help. Yeah, but the higher doses help. And I'm like, I'm not suggesting that they don't. I'm saying realistically, at some point, you're going to run out of doses like she has now. Oh, but Eli Lilly's going to come out with higher doses. Okay, that's great. But then you will run out of doses again and again and again and again until they just don't come out with no more doses. And then it's like, oh, but, and then Retta. Okay. What? Okay, fine. Like, if that's the answer, then listen, I'm not arguing. I'm just, listen, we're here to point out her contradictions. I'm not here to debate what people want to do about titrating up to Zepbound milligram, 35 milligram. Like, okay, that's fine. Okay, so let's continue.
The same helper at the beginning of my journey 3.5 years ago, 2.5 years ago, a year ago, 6 months ago. Even the way that I adapt now 6 months later. So I'm filming this in mid-August as I'm filming it. So what does that take us back 6 months previous would be mid-February. I do think my brain is different than it was then. And so in terms of the volume of appetite suppression, I think has changed, which is why I've had to combat it more with working with a dietitian and pulling in some of these other tools. You've probably noticed my content has changed somewhat because I've had to change the way that this maintenance journey is going, which by the way, it is a big kick in the nuts when people say to me, you realize on maintenance, you shouldn't be gaining weight. 2 hands up that I want to say to somebody who says that to me, like, don't do that. That is not helpful, kind, or encouraging. My weight is going to fluctuate on maintenance. And I do believe, and which I don't have the proof yet, right? Like this study shows us that there's still so much.
So I timestamped this point because she says, it's my belief that it's the genetics for me. I don't have the proof, but I believe it'll come out later. And it's like, so you just made all that up. Like, not that genetics is not important, but like about this study pointing to your genetic specific. Well, let me go back. Let me let her say it again. Oh, Lord.
Encouraging. My weight is going to fluctuate on maintenance. And I do believe,
She said her weight is going to fluctuate. I would agree, but how much fluctuation are we talking about? There's fluctuation and then there's just straight up weight gain, but that's relative. My opinion of that may be different from hers.
And which I don't have the proof yet, right? Like this study
I don't
shows
have
us
the
that there's
proof.
still so much we don't know. But my belief,
I don't have the proof yet. This study shows us so much that we don't know, but my belief. We're going to get into her beliefs because she believes a lot. She believes a lot.
system is that it will come out later on about the brain changes within being in maintenance of, but this is a genetics thing for me.
She believes it's going to come out later that there are brain changes in maintenance that says this is genetic for her. Do with that what you will. Okay. Do with that what you will. I think we will always be in the what train, be in the and then what train. I don't think so, Jen. I don't think so. And when I say and then what, I'm not really looking for y'all to have an answer. You're not supposed to have the answer. You're the patient. I'm just suggesting that when we put all of our eggs in the higher dose basket, it's a little short-sighted. That's all I'm trying to say. But maybe I'm just a bit of a dork about this. Like maybe I'm just thinking too deep into it. Maybe I'm just thinking too far ahead. Because I don't expect the patients to have the answer. I think that there are going to be a lot of people that figure this out, either with the information from the studies that's coming out or trial and error or working with their doctors. I think this approach is going to be very individualistic until there is some like research and consensus around it. But I mean, I don't have anything against titrating up. I just hoping for later doses as a long-term strategy doesn't make sense to me. I'm not telling everybody else how to feel, but that doesn't sound like, although I'm not against titrating up, relying on continued doses to come out doesn't make any sense to me. But maybe that's because I have an understanding that you can't just dose yourself indefinitely. Like you can't just dose your receptors indefinitely. Like Nerd says, if it suppressed you once, it can suppress you again, but you may need new dosing strategy or to add other types of meds. I think that's the point that y'all are missing. That's exactly the point that I'm trying to make, where the opposite of what you're saying is true. Like if it dosed you once, it could dose you again. You know what that's eventually called? Overdose. That's what that's called. Like these medications aren't magic. They have a place that they go, which is to a receptor or to several receptors. These receptors, in order to protect themselves from overdosing, will just stop responding. Receptors come to the surface of a cell to get to do the receiving, right? To do the receiving from the hormone. If you overstimulate those receptors, less and less will just come to the surface, and you have to force more and more hormones in order to get those receptors to come to the surface. But eventually, again, they just downregulate and they just stop responding as much. So you need more and more and more and more. And to an extent, right now, the 15 milligram extent, we are all in agreement that we're on board for this ride. Like so far, Eli Lilly did the research. Maybe you don't have to understand how it works in depth, but on a surface level, we're along for this ride to the 15 milligram. No problem. Nothing to see here. I'm okay with that. They come out with 3 more doses. Okay, we're on the train for 3 more doses. Okay, fine. All I'm saying is constantly putting our eggs in the dosing up basket for doses that don't even exist yet. I'm talking about not even the ones that exist. I'm talking about the ones that don't exist, like a 16.5 milligram. Like that don't exist. But if it worked for sweet tea, that's fine. But I'm just saying, like, as far as relying on a constant, like, well, if it worked once, it'll work before. There's a limit to that, because when you go beyond the limit, you overdose and die. That's how drugs work. That's how they work. That's how they work. Okay? That's how they work. So I'm not saying it's a bad thing to titrate up. I'm saying that putting a lot of emphasis on future doses is like, that will be good for some people. But eventually, the researchers or the doctors are going to have to answer the what next question. I'm not saying we got to answer it. I'm saying the people that we're trusting, you know, with our health, they're going to have to answer that question. Let's see. Okay, so she talked about her belief in genetics and that she doesn't have proof, but she knows the proof is coming later, okay? And here's my final thought. It looks like I started to put a timestamp here. Let me see, 24 minutes, but I didn't finish it. Did I mean to timestamp 24 minutes? Hold on, let me see. I probably didn't. That probably was just a typo. Let me see.
There's this duality. My therapist says that it's a higher form of thinking when people can think in terms of both. And so both can be true. Of both, I need to focus in on being in a calorie range or a calorie deficit if I'm in weight loss. I need to focus in on protein. I need to focus in on resistance training. That. And then also the medication is amazing and life-changing. And oh my gosh, my husband reminds me frequently when I get upset is you've changed. You don't weigh 300 pounds anymore. You're doing all these active things. I'm getting ready to go ride roller coasters. I'm so excited for, what is it, the third year in a row? Like, what a gift and a blessing. That one has
Okay, yeah, I did mean to timestamp that. I wanted to point out that part made me smile. Like, it really is a gift. And like, she talked about going, losing over 100 pounds and like going to ride roller coasters for 3 years in a row and how much of a gift and a blessing that is, because it is. It really is. Like, I don't think that should be glossed over or understated. That really, really is. It may not seem that way for people that have never struggled with their weight, but it really is something special to lose weight and be able to participate in parts of life that you couldn't before, or were too embarrassed to, or your disability affected you, like obesity being a disability, to a certain extent, like depending on how obese you are. It is truly a gift and a blessing to get to a point where you can do the things that make life worth living. So I wanted to point that part out, because that made me smile. I'm like, you know, I wish she would focus on that maybe a little more, but you know, who am I? Now, she talked about, oh, it's the genetics, oh, it's the calories, oh, it's this or that. My final question for this video is, yes, it's all of these other things, but what are you eating? And I seen y'all saying it in the chat, but I haven't confirmed because I haven't seen the grocery shopping hauls. My question that I had in my notes is like, yes, all of these things. Yes, your genetics. But what are you eating? She seems wired to me, worked up, anxious. Maybe that's just her personality. But it's like, what are your stress and anxiety levels like? Is she sleeping? Is she sleeping well? Now, on the video where she commented to me, she said she's working 60-hour weeks and she doesn't have childcare. Maybe she genuinely is overwhelmed. If she is, that could be affecting her progress or her weight loss or something like that. But in order to find solutions to those things, it comes back to accountability. Like, you have to be able to look at yourself and say, what can I change in my life? What do I have control over? To say that you'll hear her say it, but to say that I'm doing everything right, I'm not being facetious. She's gonna say that. She's going to say that she's doing everything right. Now she contradicts it. She contradicts it at other times, but like, it's like, this is up to Zedbound and my doctors. I don't get why I'm not seeing success, which I think 100 pounds is successful, but she's not seeing the success that she wants to see. Okay. So this video was maximize Zedbound results with this Yale study. I did not get that out of this video, but then again, we didn't cover the whole thing. So if you want to watch it in full context and know more about the study, make sure that you go check out that video. We're going to move on to her perimenopause video. I saw perimenopause was mentioned earlier in the chat. I am not at that phase in my life. So let me just get ahead of it by saying, you don't have to tell me that I don't know what it's like to go through perimenopause. I know that. You don't have to tell me that I don't know what it's like to go through menopause. I know that. We're just going to watch the video and see what she has to say, and I will give my opinion based on that. Okay? All right? So, yeah, let's get into that. Like the stream if you haven't already. Okay. which one? Okay, so we did the Yale study. We want to get into this one. Perimenopause. That's the one we want to get into. Okay, this one. This is the one where I left her to comment about you're not in maintenance, girly pop, or you're not at your goal. And she's like,
Perimenopause.
yes, I am, but. Okay. Yes, I am, but. So if you want to watch this one is called Perimenopause, Weight Loss Blueprint, GLP-1, HRT, and Muscle Preservation. We're going to be talking about her discovering human hormone replacement therapy and how she thinks that's the answer for her hormonal belly. And the last one, the Yale study, was the answer. And this one, HRT, is the answer. Okay, let's see. Hold on, I have to change my notes. All right, let's do this.
Puzzle weight loss blueprint with GLP-1, HRT, and muscle preservation. Hi, besties. I've lost 113 pounds the last 3.5 years of being on GLP-1. I've been on Mounjaro, Zepbound, and tirzepatide compound, not at the same time. And on today's episode, I want to deep dive into perimenopause. I just got back from the doctor, literally had my blood drawn and did a whole physical. That's your reminder to get your physical done for your yearly maintenance checks and all things dentist, OBGYN, physicals. And at my doctor's appointment, my whole mission was to talk about HRT. I was like, I got to get in there. I'm 45 years old and have been on GLP-1 medication the last 3.5 years. In the last 6 months, I have started to notice some hormone shifts within me, particularly with hot flashes. And so I'm like, I feel like I'm 45. I'm in that age range for perimenopause, but also I feel differently. I feel like my hormones have been shifted. And then hormones, honey, it reminds me of fried green tomatoes.
Is there anyone that has gone through perimenopause that can tell me how you know? I'm pretty sure it's something that comes on gradually, and like symptoms build over time. How do you know when you're perimenopausal? Like, how do you know when that clock has started? Like, okay, menopause is approaching. How do you know that? The reason that I'm asking is because I'm suspicious. Now, I want to be clear. She did say she's 45. This is how we had her age from earlier from the BMI calculation. I got it from this video. She said she's 45. And she said, I'm in the range for perimenopause. Okay. And then she said specifically the last 6 months. Maybe that means nothing, but I am suspicious about like what I noticed in the past 6 months is that a lot of people in the GLP-1 space are talking about menopause, which is not bad. That's not a bad thing. But a lot of people are talking about it. So it's a popular topic in the past 6 months. So I'm suspicious of the timing. Like it's an interesting timing that you suddenly think you're perimenopausal. Not to say that she's not. What do I know? I'm not a doctor, but to say that you're perimenopausal at the same time that half the space is talking about menopause. But she did say she was getting hot flashes. She did say that. So maybe she is. But I was just wondering, is there a way to know? Like, is there a way to tell? Or it's more of a hindsight thing. Like, once you hit menopause, then it makes sense that those experiences or those symptoms that you were having before was like, oh, so all that time must have been peri. Does it work like this? Like, you can be like, oh, the past 6 months I've been experiencing this, so I think it's perimenopause. Like, is that how that works? Is there a test you can take? Is there a way to measure your hormones to be able to tell? I know it's different for everybody as far as like what age it starts. So I'm not questioning like if it's possible at her age. Countess, to me, this is surely my opinion. This is surely my opinion, but she is a chaser of problems. Like she will grasp onto anything and say, oh, I think that's me. Oh, I think that's me. Oh, I think that's me. Oh, I think I think I have that issue. I think I have that issue. I think I have that issue. She does that a lot. So again, it's just a suspicion. I'm not suggesting that she isn't perimenopausal. I'm suspicious of her ability to evaluate that correctly. And it sounds like she evaluated that about herself before she went to the doctor. Like she said, she went into the doctor with the sole purpose of talking about HRT because she diagnosed herself as like, I'm perimenopausal. So it doesn't sound like this is a conversation that she's already had with her doctor. But that's just my opinion. I don't know. Emotional instability, hot flashes, night sweats, frozen shoulder, dry, terrible sex, weight gain, and like 50 other horrible symptoms that make you feel crazy. Oh, you'll know your cycle changes in terms of length, low pain, etc. You might develop other female related conditions such as fibroids. The hormone fluctuations cause changes in your mood, skin changes, night sweats, hot flashes, emotional changes confirmed by my blood work. That's the answer I'm looking for, Nicole, as far as like the blood work. So there is a way to test for this. Like you can do blood work that will confirm this for you. Like you have the symptoms, sure, but your blood work can confirm. Okay, that's what I was looking for. My sister is the same age as her and suspects it too. TERS is not TERSing the same way. Sleep issues, period, not regular. It's a progression. Okay, progression makes sense. I just wanted to know if there was a way to confirm it. Do we typically need a doctor to tell us when we're perimenopausal? I'm not familiar, but women's health is evolving. I don't know. That's why I'm asking the people that have been there. I have no idea. I have no clue. That's other than the symptoms, which are important. Is there a way to confirm that that's what it is and not something else? You know what I mean? Because a lot of like health conditions can have overlapping, like diabetes, like type 2 diabetes and obesity, right? How do you know you have one or the other when the symptoms overlap? Like they share a lot of the same symptoms. One is classified one way, the other is classified a different way. You can tell you have type 2 diabetes by testing your hemoglobin A1C. You can tell you're obese based on, weighing yourself, height to weight ratio, and a BMI and all that. We may think it's flawed, but that's the way to tell. And you could be type 2 diabetic and not be obese. You can be obese and not have type 2 diabetes and still have overlapping symptoms. So I was just wondering if there was a way to confirm this. Yes, hormonal testing, test and balance estrogen and progesterone. It does not sound like she's done any of that. All right, bye nerd. Thank you for commenting. It doesn't sound like she's done any of that. But let me let her finish. I just wanted to confirm before we continued, okay? So let me let her finish.
And so on today's episode, I wanted to do a blueprint of, I feel like I have mastered the GLP-1 space for me, never medical advice, always talk to your healthcare provider, but can give a lot of encouragement on that of what's worked really, really well for me and what's not worked really well for me. And then this HRT camp, I will be starting literally later today. I'm very excited. I want to share about that. And then the muscle preservation, because that's really important for these pieces moving into this next phase of life.
Did she just say HRT camp? I must have missed something. Hold on. Let me slow it down. Did she just say HRT camp?
Me. And then this HRT camp, I will be starting.
Oh, she meant like this portion of her journey. Okay, I think that's what she meant.
Literally later today. I'm very excited. I want to share about that. And then the muscle preservation, because that's really important for these pieces moving into this next phase of life. So if this falls for you, let's dive in. So for GLP-1 weight loss, I started GLP-1 before I started HRT. I know many of you have done HRT and then GLP-1, and I have loved in our free encouragement group, countessshopping.com/group, people talking about their HRT experience, how helpful it was for them. And I think for me, the last 6 months, it has been, and I've said this over and over and over in my videos, of I'm on the highest dose, Zepbound 15 milligrams, and I feel like I'm hungry a lot of the time, and that's me working with I'm doing all the right things.
You heard her? I'm on Zepbound 15 milligram, and I'm hungry all the time. I'm doing all the right things. I wasn't bullshitting. That's what she said. Y'all know I don't believe in that. I don't believe in doing all the things. I don't believe that that's a real thing. I don't believe that that's a real thing. I don't think anybody can do everything right. But that's what she said. Now, hunger on Zepbound 15 milligram It's been 3 years on the same dose. Of course you're hungry. That makes perfectly sense. She impulsively says, I'm doing all the right things. I think that's a red flag because nobody's doing all the right things, okay? The moment you say you're doing everything correct, you close your mind to solutions. Therefore, your lack of progress is not your fault, right? You say, I'm doing all the right things because it couldn't possibly be something that you could be doing differently that would propel you forward. I think it's a mistake for anybody to say, but I'm doing everything right. I'm doing everything right. Like, now I know the girls don't like when I say that about before being on a GLP-1. Y'all are a little more tolerant if we're on GLP-1s and I say nobody's doing everything right. Y'all are a bit more tolerant. But if I say that about before a GLP-1, it's like, no, yes, I really was doing everything right. I did everything. Nothing worked. And it's like, okay, all right, I'm not going to argue. Okay. So anyway, so let's leave that out of it. She is on a GLP-1 and she feels like she's doing everything correct, but not seeing success. And I think that that's a mistake to say that we're doing everything because nobody's doing everything. All right, I'm gonna jump ahead a minute and a half and we're gonna get into her OBGYN.
But I'm like, no. I have a good friend.
Sorry, what we missed in that minute that I jumped is that she went to her gynecologist and asked for HRT and they told her no to get on birth control or to stay on birth control. Okay. And she's like, no, I know this person that's on HRT. So that's where we are now.
It's my Golden Girls bestie. We text Golden Girl, our not soul relationship, but main relationship is us texting Golden Girls quotes back multiple times per week to each other. It's hysterical. And we have done so for years and years and years. And she was sharing with me about her HRT experience. And she had a big old pooch. I don't think she said that, not me. And I don't think she had a big old pooch. She's like, it's gone in a matter of weeks. She's like, the hormone changes were crazy. And so
And Jen, I told you what I thought about this last night when we were texting. Would you like to come up here and do the stream with me, Jen? Would you like to take the mic away? I need a break anyway, Jenitha. Come help me. Oh my gosh, Lola is not even like needing your attention right now. Come help. Because this is a good point. This is a good point. I don't think we need to be dismissive of hunger because hunger is hormonal. It's ghrelin. What she's experiencing, though, we will go on to see, is more emotional hunger. We will go on to see that. Matter of fact, she mentioned it in the last video that we watched. Okay. So I have to agree, even though I think that Jen is a little more harsh when it comes to the hunger conversation, right? Because Jen believes all the girls is hungry, hungry hippos, which is partially true. But like I would have to agree that we don't know what hunger is, and we're going to talk about that later because she might have more of an advantage. Like this is why you got to be able to help yourself, right? This is why you have to be able to take things in context and help yourself. But Jen's comment distracted me, and she don't want to come up here and help me. So I'm just gonna let it play. I'm just gonna let it play. But we'll get back to that point.
This has led me to this point of, I think for me, and I'm documenting this because I will share if I'm right or wrong, but for me, it's been difficult with food. And I think part of that is hormones. And my doctor.
It's been difficult with food. I think part of that is hormone. This is hormone. This is why I did the Control Your Hunger, Control Your Weight series. Hunger is a real thing. However, maybe some people need to read the hunger code because there are many types of hunger. There is physiologic hunger where ghrelin goes up, you get hungry. My stomach is growling as we speak, okay? There is social hunger where you go out with friends to a place and you wasn't hungry and then you eat just because you're there, or you start thinking about food just because you're there because you're like your environment is full of food. There's hedonic hunger. Okay, you're eating for pleasure. You're eating to soothe yourself. Zebound helps with that to an extent, but that aspect is no longer working for her. In fact, I don't think it ever worked for her. I don't think that hedonic hunger portion ever worked for her. And she is suffering from a lot of hedonic hunger. Okay, a lot. But let's continue.
I love her so much. She's the one who put me originally back on Manjaro way back 3.5 years ago. I call her a superhero. I'm literally sending her flowers as a thank you from this last visit because she did it again because she started talking in depth about HRT. So she's like, you can do a cream or you can do a patch and then also a pill to start off with. And we're going to test it for a month and then check back in with each other. And so I'm super curious. For me, this HRT piece for perimenopause weight loss. A GLP-1, baby, that losing 113 pounds, like, are you kidding me? That's so amazing. So amazing. But adding in this hormone component, I think is the other missing hinge pin on it. Also, I do feel hormonal at times of where my emotions, I am naturally naturally an emotional person. I'm an empath. And so I cry frequently. Like, that's who I am. I'm made that way, but I have done an intense amount of therapy to level my emotions, to be able to keep them controllable. And there have been times where I'm like, this is a hormonal.
I must have skipped past it, but there was a point where she mentioned that her friend started HRT and she had a lower belly pooch. Hey, Teddy. And her pooch went away when she started HRT. And this is what motivated her. But then she goes into talking about hunger. So it's like, are you interested in HRT for perimenopausal symptoms to get rid of a pooch and to regulate your mood? Or are you interested in it for hunger? Like, or is it all of it? Is it everything? Because when you start to go into menopause, yeah, people do gain weight, but a part of that is the hunger. Like we talked about, well, we never really did the menopause stream. I guess I should start research, not start, but finish my research on that. When the hormone shifts happen, the hunger goes up. So people don't just gain weight for no reason. Now where you gain weight also is hormonal. That's why it starts to develop more so in the belly during menopause or leading into menopause. But yeah, the hunger goes up. It's the estrogen dropping or the progesterone dropping or going up. I forget which one it is. But yeah, it causes more hunger. It's kind of like during your cycle. Like your cycle is like mini periods of fucking period in perimenopause. Like it's like little menopausal periods where your hormones are going up and down. So some periods during your cycle you're more hungry, and in other periods you're less hungry. Well, menopause is like the permanent version of the hungry portion, okay? Until you get to the other side of it. So the point is she now thinks HRT is the answer for her. HRT plus a GLP-1, and she's going around in circles when she really is just trying to say, I've been stuck, not able to lose weight, and I think HRT will help me lose weight. I'm not even sure if that's how that works. I don't know. Y'all can tell me. I have no idea. But it's like she hops from solution to solution based on what other people are doing or based on the research that she's done. And it doesn't seem like she actually implements anything. Like she doesn't actually change anything. She just says, oh, I think this is me. I think this is going to work. I think this is going to work. I don't know. Let's go to 5:30 where she talks about her lower belly weight.
Emotional response that I'm having that is hormonally based. And so for me, I'm like, that's another perimenopause symptom that I have just been clocking. I'm like clocking that, the hot flashes, waking up being incredibly hot in the middle of the night within the last few months. This hormonal shifting that's happening, but also with my food the last 6 months of where I am still so hungry. And in my lower section, it makes me mental about the lack of weight loss in there when I feel like I'm doing somewhat of the right things.
I thought she said she was doing everything right. Did she not just say that? I thought she said she was doing everything right. And now it's, I'm doing somewhat of the right things. Which one is it? And she's talking about how not being able to lose weight in her lower half or lower belly is driving her crazy. So again, this goes back to the point of her friend starting HRT. She thinks HRT is going to help get rid of her apron belly. What test, Jennifer? You mean the test that Nicole, Sydney, Sweet Tea, all of them mentioned? No, she didn't mention that test. No. Okay. No, she didn't mention that. Okay. So she's talking about how the weight in her lower belly is stressing her out, which I get, it happens to a lot of us. She talks about how she's somewhat doing the right things after she says she was doing everything right. Well, if you're doing somewhat of the right things, maybe that's why you're only getting somewhat of the results that you want. If you're only doing somewhat of the things right, maybe that's why you're only getting somewhat of the results that you want. Let's continue.
But I feel frequently, a lot of the time, very hungry. And that's on GLP-1. So my hypothesis is if I go on HRT.
Her hypothesis, she has a lot of those. She just had a hypothesis in the last video that we watched from a week ago. These videos are a week apart. Her hypothesis, she has a lot of those. The last hypothesis, she admitted there was no proof of, but she's hoping the proof will come later. That's so what is this hypothesis based on? I mean, it's fine. We're not scientists. It's fine to have a hypothesis. I just think that maybe she gets a little carried away with theories about what would work. I don't know. Let's continue.
With the GLP-1 Zepbound 15 milligrams, is that going to help me? And I think so. I think that my hypothesis is going to be correct, that this is going to help me in that capacity.
I think that my hypothesis is going to be correct. Okay.
In addition, the muscle preservation component of this, one of the things that I absolutely have been recommending for the last, 2.5 years is Biooptimizer's Magnesium Breakthrough.
Okay. We're not going to go through her ad, but I wanted to show this portion because we're going to jump ahead to get to the next point. Okay. But she's promoting a product here that helps with her muscle retention, I guess. All right, so let's jump forward just a tad bit, just a couple minutes.
In on high protein. And obviously, again, I'm not a healthcare provider, always talk to your own healthcare provider, but that muscle preservation for us as we go in from perimenopause into menopause and then postmenopause, how much it does matter. Now, there have been so many studies on postmenopausal women, which we're going to talk about with the combination of those two things. But I did want to give the friendly reminder, high protein. If we are lifting, we do need to have that high protein to help build the muscle. Like that's the energy that helps support building the muscle. And for me, that's been a balanced focus. I have 160 grams of protein per day per my dietitian.
Come here, Linda's. Move out of the way, Nicole. Come here, Linda's. Come here. Hear me. And hear me clearly. But don't listen to me because I don't know shit. If your dietitian is recommending 160 grams of protein while you're trying to lose weight, you need to find a new dietitian. If you're the average person weight training, even not trying to lose any weight, and your dietitian, not a bodybuilder, not a professional fitness person, none of that, not them people, not a gym bro. If you're an average person doing some average weight training, even if you're not trying to lose weight, and your dietitian is recommending 160 grams of protein every single day, you need a new dietitian. I'm going to tell you why, okay? I'm going to tell you why. And it's going to take just a little bit of math, just a little bit of math, just a little bit, okay? Just a little bit. Or maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm wrong. So let's do this. This is my opinion. So let's do the math to find out. Let's do the math to find out if I'm wrong. If I'm wrong, I'll take it back, okay? I'll correct myself live on the record, okay? So let's calculate how much protein we need per day, or hypothetically, she needs per day using the 188 pounds that we got from earlier. In case you're late, how did I get to 188 pounds? I don't know how much she weighs, but she said she started out over 300 pounds. So to be fair, I said 301. Could have been 310, could have been 340, could have been 380, could have been 315. To be fair, I said 301, okay? Bare minimum, over 300 pounds, 301. She said she lost 113 pounds. Okay, 301 minus 113, 188. She's at least, could be heavier, Could be heavier, right? She's not lighter, but she could be heavier then, unless she's not telling the truth about the numbers. She's at least 188 pounds at 5'10", 45 female. Okay, so let's go to a protein calculator. Now here's where the misconception happens. The misconception happens, I want to say innocently enough, but I don't know, because a quick Google search will fix this for everybody. But it's not like, okay, what I'm trying to say is, if you ask the average trainer, maybe dietitian or whatever, doctor in the US, because we use a different measuring system, they will say 1 pound of protein per 1 pound of body weight. Okay, that's what they will say. So if you do that, you end up with outrageous amounts of protein that you need. No. When I've done the research, because I couldn't get those outrageous amounts of protein, I saw that the actual conversion is supposed to be in kilograms. Kilograms, which is what the rest of the world uses. Okay? Except us. The rest of the world uses kilograms. Can somebody explain to me how we're using grams and pounds at the same time? Let me just look it up. Let me show y'all what I'm talking about. Let me just show y'all what I'm talking about. Okay? Let me just show y'all what I'm talking about. So it says, to calculate your daily protein goal for weight loss, aim for 0.7 to 1 gram of protein per pound of body weight, which is 1.6 to 2.2 grams per kilogram. Okay. So let's see. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe she's right. Maybe her dietitian is right. Let's see. Let's do the math. So let's see. What is her weight in kilograms? Let's do pounds to kilogram. This is a guess. Don't listen to me. I could be completely wrong. I'm guessing based on the information she gave us. So let's say she's 188 pounds. That's 85 kilograms. Okay. That's 85 kilograms. And let me pull up a protein calculator. Protein goal calculator. Calculator.net. Sorry, I'm going to share my screen in a second. No, I need you to show me the formula, not the results. Hold on. Let me do it this way. Formula? I don't want them to just do the math for me. I want them to tell me how to multiply it. Okay, there it is. The baseline daily formula multiplies your body weight in kilograms by 0.8 grams. Okay, and it could be a little more if you're active. Okay, so she's 80 roughly, right? Roughly 85 kilograms. Okay, so on the lower end, on the lower end of the reason that I'm changing to kilograms is because protein is measured in grams. Grams and kilograms are a part of the same measuring system. Okay, grams and pounds are not a part of the same measuring system. All right, so Okay. Pull that up and let's do metric system. Okay. All right. I have two screens to share. All right. So we in the US of A, because maybe there's some people from Canada or somewhere else in the world watching. We in the US of A use the imperial system. Okay. So when we're measuring what something weighs, we have ounces, pounds. I don't think we use stone here in the US, but we do use tons. All right. Now, when you're measuring in the metric system, like the rest of the world, you have milligrams, grams, and kilograms. Okay. The problem is in the US, technically, our measuring system is imperial, but when we are talking about foods that we eat, it is measured in the metric system. Okay. So I don't have anything near me to confirm this, but if you have something, let me see. What does my water say? Okay. So my gallon of water also tells me how much this is in liters, right? But when you look at like a pack of like a protein powder or a pack of chicken or something like that, the protein nutrients are measured in the metric system. They're measured in grams. So how many grams of fat, grams of protein, grams of carbohydrates? We're so used to saying it, I don't even think on average we realize that we're talking about a completely different measuring system because we're just kind of used to it. The problem with that is when you start trying to calculate protein goals and you say 1 gram of protein for 1 pound of body weight. No. Those things don't go together. And I've seen many trainers make this mistake, which is what made me look it up. I'm like, that can't be right. That's like when I'm 160 pounds, you cannot tell me I got to eat 160 pounds. I mean, not 160 grams of protein. Like that is crazy. So when I looked it up, I saw the formula 0.8 per kilogram of weight. Okay. So I would convert my weight to kilograms and then multiply by 0.8. So on the lower end, I think it ranges from 0.8 to multiply by 0.8 to 2. Like it's a range, right? So on the lower end, if she's roughly 188 pounds, that's 85 kilograms. If she used the lower end of the formula, 0.8, that would put her at about 68 grams of protein, which is just bare minimum. Like, don't go no lower than that, right? But let's say she needs more protein because she's working out. So let's go to like the middle range of like 1.2 or something like that. 85 kilograms times 1.2. Oh shit. That's 100 grams. Now, if you double it, if she's 85 kilograms times 2, that's 170 grams of protein. I think even times 2 is too high. That's too high, right? That's too high. So 160 grams of protein. I don't know where her dietitian got that from. I'm like, I don't even know where that number came from. Like, where did she get 160 from? Where did she get that from? It would be nice to know, because maybe I'm missing something. Like, I don't know where she get 160 from, but that's way too much protein for the average person, even if you are working out. Like, unless you are a freaking bodybuilder, you do not need that much protein. I'm not telling her what to do. I'm not telling anybody what to do. But that is just ridiculous. Like, how are you supposed to lose weight eating 160 grams of protein? That's a lot of goddamn calories. Like, how are you supposed to lose weight doing that? And this is where you start to see she has this back and forth where I know I should be eating less, but my dietitian is telling me to eat this much. I know I should be eating less to lose weight, but my dietitian is telling me to eat this much. And then she starts to go down this rabbit hole, justifying it by saying muscle preservation and BMR. You do not need 160 grams of protein to preserve no damn muscle. You do not need that. Like, you do not need that.
we're in a protein hyper focused environment right now for those on and off of GLP-1s, but especially like protein is like your Lord and Savior on a GLP-1, and it's like a lot of us are overeating on the protein. A lot of us are undereating, but a lot of us are overeating. It's like there's nobody wants to just find a middle ground. Okay, so if you want to find your middle ground, like not even your middle ground, like your bare minimum, convert your weight 2 kilograms and then multiply by 0.8. That's the formula. And if you can't remember it, just Google it. But if it says 1 gram per pound, you're using the wrong formula. And a lot of people in the health industry use this because that's how we measure in the US. We measure our weight in pounds, but then measure our macronutrients in grams. That's dumb. That's dumb. But it's easier than measuring our macronutrients in ounces. Why? Because ounces is dumb. Why are we still using this system in the US? Because I don't know, because we're dumb. Like, I don't know, but that's what we have. That's what we have. Okay. So let me get caught up on your comments and then I just wanted to clear that up. I'm not telling her how much to eat. I'm saying she's eating too much. I'm saying she's eating too much. Yes, I'm going out on a limb and saying it. And if your dietitian is telling you to eat that much, you could either ignore that part. This is why I said you got to think for yourself, right? My dietitian wanted me to eat bread every day. Listen, I listen to the rest, chew the meat, spit out the bones. I would ignore that part or find a different dietitian if they give you a hard time. Okay. So we were at 160 grams of protein per day. Okay. So we calculated her protein needs potentially. Then she's going to go into how many calories she's eating per day. This is why she can't lose no weight. Sydney said, I chose not to do HRT because I had uterine fibroids. Okay. I was hoping for that option. Okay. I've heard per goal weight in pounds also. That's why people end up eating too much protein. It's incorrect. And if you want to know why it's incorrect, it's because pounds is in the imperial system, grams is in the metric system. Yes, in the US, we weigh our macros or we measure our macros on packaging in the metric system, which is grams, but the sister to grams is kilograms, not pounds. The sister or for pounds, it's ounces. Like you measure ounces until you get to a pound. You measure grams until you get to a kilogram. Weight is measured differently in the two systems. Why we combine them in the US? Probably because the metric system is better and we just don't want to switch completely. So we just combine the two. But then you end up with outrageous protein goals. And all you got to do to fix it is convert your weight to kilograms. That's all you got to do. That always seemed extremely high to me too. Yeah. My research showed me that most average women only need 50 grams of protein per day. Unless you're working out, then you need more. She does say she's weight training. I would be wary of averages as far as women in general, because, well, I mean, unless we're talking about average women, like the average woman in the US, I think is 5'4", 180 pounds. If we're talking about like that, then sure. But we got to be careful with the averages. But I understand what you're saying, Nicole. Puerto Rican. Hey, girl. I think she was looking for a dietitian to greenlight her eating more. I see where she's messed up. It's just sad that she don't want no help. Is there levels to working out? Bodybuilders versus us? Absolutely. That's why I said, even if you're the average person lifting weights, you still don't need 160 grams of protein. Like, that is diabolical. That is a lot of calories. I didn't even start, like, there were times where I wasn't losing weight fast enough on my journey because I was eating too much protein. I was trying to eat like 130, 140 grams of protein. You damn sure don't need that every day. Like, listen, if you think I'm wrong, okay, whatever. Alexa, stop. She's talking about I'm listening. We know that's the problem. That's why I never had that shit in my house. It's bad enough my phone listens to me. Okay. Okay. So let's continue.
Balancing that with my 19, and for me, that's been a balanced focus. I have 100.
For me, that's been a balanced focus. I hate the word balance. I hate it. Like, what do you mean it's been a balanced focus? What are you even talking about?
And 60 grams of protein per day per my dietitian. Balancing that with my 1940, 1950 calories per day.
She's eating 2,000 calories a day. 160 grams of protein. Girl, that's why you can't lose no weight. Let's be fair. Let me go to the calorie calculator. Now, I'm not the biggest proponent of counting calories, but I think it's a useful tool in situations like this. So let's see. What am I looking for? Not a BMR calculator. I'm looking for TDEE. That's what I'm looking for. TDEE, total daily energy expenditure, I think it is. That's what I'm looking for. Hold on. Let's see. TDEE calculator. So she's 45, female, 5'10", 100 and we don't know. So I'm going to say 188. That's bare minimum. And you always want to, when you're doing these calculators, you always want to start out with BMR or sedentary and work your way up from there to see where the bare minimum is, because these calculators can become inaccurate. Like, you have to take them with a grain of salt once you start adding in exercise, because once you add in exercise, we're all different. Like, what we burn, what we need, we can take generalities, or generalizations, but we're pretty different. So I'm gonna go with sedentary, even though she is not. We're just looking for the bare minimum, okay? So it says the estimated TDEE. Hold on, let me show you guys. Let me show you guys. And this is not to make fun of her or shame her. This is to point out this is what's going wrong. And she knows it's wrong, but she won't stop because she's appealing to authority. Like, she's like, yeah, but my dietitian said, so that's what I'm doing. But my dietitian said, so that's what I'm doing. I mean, I know I should be doing this other thing, but that's what I'm doing. Okay, let's get into it. So I picked sedentary, even though she's not. Okay, the estimated TDEE or body weight maintenance energy requirement is 1,894 calories. She's eating in a goddamn surplus. Okay, that's without including the exercise. Maybe I'm tripping, right? She's eating in a surplus. So if we look at, let's just make it even. She said 1950. This says 1890 is maintenance. Let's just call it even and say 1900 calories, right? If she did not work out, 1900 calories would be her maintenance, okay? Energy intake to gain weight would be 21 to 2800 calories. And to lose weight would be 1300 to 1600. Now, I say this with in mind that there is an argument that calories in this way, calculating them in this way, is only a small part of the equation, right? So just keep that in mind, okay? Just keep that in mind. But for just example's sake, let's use the calculations that we have in front of us, okay? Now, let's say we trust the calculator, which we don't. We're just using it as a guide. We don't trust it completely. This is not our Lord and Savior like dietitians and doctors. We're just using it. We're just using it as a top level view. I mean, a million miles above our heads in space. We just want to see what it's going to say. Okay. I don't know how hard she works out. Let's say light exercise 1 to 3 times a week. This definition is so arbitrary. This could mean anything. This could mean light walking. This could mean light dumbbells. This could mean jumping jacks. This could mean burpees. This could mean sit-ups. This could mean yoga. We don't know what this means. This is why it's kind of useless to use this portion of the calculator, because how are they defining exercise? How are they defining light, medium, moderate, heavy? We don't know, right? But let's just see what it says. Let's just see what it says. We don't take it too seriously. Let's just see light exercise 1 to 3 times a week. The estimated TDEE or body weight maintenance energy requirement is 2,100 calories a day. Okay, so it didn't even go up by that much. Now it says energy intake to lose weight is 1920 and to gain weight is 2,400. All right. Now, the problem with the calorie counting in this way is that people use it as a rule instead of a marker, right? They use it as a rule they should follow instead of a marker. 2,000 calories a day when you're trying to lose weight and you're less than 200 pounds makes absolutely no sense. It makes absolutely no sense. It makes no sense. And that's why, like, she harps a lot on, yeah, but what you're missing is I need to eat to maintain my muscle or to build muscle.
I know. With that part, she is correct. That is why it is incredibly difficult and it's counterproductive to try to do both. Now, I'm going to say something that I haven't heard anyone else say, but I want to not be taken out of context. Is muscle a concern? Muscle loss a concern with weight loss? Yes. But is it also inevitable? Yes. She says she's 5'10", Shonda, not over 6 foot. Is muscle loss a concern with weight loss? Yes. But is it like unavoidable? Yes. I think that some of us in the GLP-1 community have lost the plot when it comes to muscle and BMR, basal metabolic rate. Okay. I'm going to tell you why. We have gotten so scared of muscle loss that we're overeating to maintain muscle, which is unnecessary. She talked about maintaining her BMR, and that's why she's eating so many calories, which is crazy. Like, as you lose weight, you don't need as much food, so your BMR is going to go down. That makes perfect sense. As you lose weight, your body is going to shed muscle that it no longer needs because you're unbigging your back. Like, the amount of muscle you need to maintain your wide back at 250, our wide backs, I'll say our wide backs, at 240, 280, 300, 320 pounds, we don't need all that goddamn muscle when we make it down to 180, 175, 200. So yes, we're going to lose muscle. It is okay. Now, do some people lose too much muscle because they won't work out on a GLP-1? Sure. Do some people lose too much muscle because they're not working out without a GLP-1? Sure, that is true. So should you work out? Should you weight train on a GLP-1? Yes, you should. Okay, that's 100% true. You should be doing that. Is your basal metabolic rate going to drop when you lose weight? Yes, it is, because your smaller body doesn't need to burn as many calories as your big back body. So you're going to lose muscle because you don't need all the muscle. Your BMR is going to drop because you don't need all the calorie burn. What is the confusion here? I'm going to tell you what the confusion is. The Biggest Loser. The Biggest Loser. The way they crash dieted everybody on The Biggest Loser, and their metabolisms crashed and their BMR crashed, and they regained weight but still was burning too few calories, so they ended up big again. That's where the confusion is coming in. Because of what happened to the people on The Biggest Loser, we think that applies to all of us. It don't. It don't. We're fine. We're not crash dieting. We're fine. We have GLP-1s helping us. Okay? We're fine. We are not crash dieting. If you are crash dieting on a GLP-1, I guess you can if you undereat, right? We don't want to undereat. We don't want to do that. But I'm not sure that if there are people undereating on purpose on a GLP-1, then maybe they should seek some help, right? But a GLP-1 already helps you eat less. So if you're undereating, that just takes a bit of education, like to try to make sure that you're getting enough nutrition and things like that. But for the most part, we're not crash dieting. Our appetites are just in control, so we eat less. Our BMR dropping is perfectly natural. Our muscle coming off because we're unbigging our backs is perfectly natural. Why are we eating 2,000 calories a day to maintain the muscle of a big back? Why are we doing that? And the truth is because some of us have gotten scared into trying to hold on to muscle we don't need. We need some, but we don't need the amount we had at 300 pounds or 250 pounds. Like, so you're supposed to adjust along the way. As you lose weight, the amount of food you need at your new weight, let's say 20, 30 pounds, it's going to adjust. It's not going to be wild swings like, you need 2,000 calories to maintain your weight at 200 pounds. And then suddenly you get to 180 and now you can maintain on 1,200. No. For example, I'll show you. I'll use myself as an example. I will use myself as an example. Okay. So I'm 30. I'm 30. I'm 5'3". We're going to do sedentary. Okay. And 240 pounds. Okay. 240. Let's say I don't work out. My TDEE to maintain is 2,100 calories. Actually, let's go with BMR because that's what she mentioned. Let's go BMR What would happen if I did nothing? If I didn't even get out of bed, how many calories would I burn at 240 pounds? Okay. 1778. Okay. What happens? 30, 5, 3, 240. Yes. Okay. What happens if I lose 100 pounds? See what happened? Do I need to zoom in? Let me zoom in and do that again. Let me zoom in and do that again. Okay. This is my information, not Countess's information, not Elizabeth's information. Okay. I started out at 240. Okay. This is BMR. This is what she mentioned in the video. What would happen if I did nothing all day? I'd burn 1,700 to 1,800 calories, 1778. Let's just round up to 1,800 calories. If I did nothing all day, I would burn about 1,800 calories. What Countess is thinking is that no matter how much weight you lose, you want to be able to maintain that rate because it is your lifeline. If you drop that at all, oh my God, your metabolism slowed down and you're gonna be doomed like those in The Biggest Loser. No. Okay. The body is a bit smarter than that. All right. Now, I lost 100 pounds roughly. Let's say 95 pounds, 145. So now that I've unbigged my back, or I'm unbigging my back, I'm a big back in recovery. I'm not burning 1,778 calories at rest. I'm not burning roughly 1,800 calories at rest. I'm burning roughly 1,300 to 1,400 calories. Why? Because my body is smaller. No amount of muscle is going to fix that. No amount of muscle is going to fix that. Like no matter how much I weight train, no matter how much, there is no reason why I need to burn the same amount of calories that I did when I was at 240. You don't need that in your life. You don't need it. Now, if you're 240 only burning 1,300 calories, like some of the people on The Biggest Loser, it's going to be very hard for you to lose weight. But that's not the case here. That's not the case. So it's like, she's eating too much. She's overeating, trying to maintain a BMR that don't even apply to her body no more. But that's what her dietitian told her to do. So that's what she wanted to do. Hopefully I cleared that up. I don't know of another way to explain it, but she's eating too much. Okay. I was thinking the same. If I'm telling the dietitian I'm always hungry, it sounds like they would say eat more. She may be stuck in a cycle of cognitive dissonance, which would make sense as to why she can't hear new information. Oh, she's definitely stuck in a cycle of cognitive dissonance. That's the point of the stream, to point it out. Since I tried to point it out to her in her comments and she said I was poking at her. I wasn't, but okay. 160 grams of protein, 2,000 calories a day. Okay, let's continue.
It's hard to do that. It's very hard to do that. And with 25 grams of high fiber. And for me, that's been a balanced focus. I have 160 grams of protein per day per my dietitian. Balancing that with my 1940, 1950 calories per day. It's hard to do that. It's very hard to do that. And
it's hard to do that, as in it's hard to lose weight while you're trying to eat. This is what she's talking about. It's hard to lose weight while you're trying to eat 2,000 calories a day plus 160 grams of protein. Exactly, Countess. Exactly. You get that it's hard. So why are you doing it? Because your dietitian said to do it. Okay. Because your dietitian said to do it. Okay. And it's not doing anything for your hunger. So if 2,000 calories a day at roughly 180 pounds, 160 grams of protein is not addressing your hunger, something's not adding up here. Something's not adding up here. Maybe the hunger that she's describing is an actual physical hunger. Maybe it's emotional or mental hunger, which is a real thing. That's called hedonic hunger. And Zepbound is not helping her with that at this point, because she's been on it for 3 years. That, it happens. The receptors just aren't responding the same anymore. That's perfectly normal. But I don't see how she's supposed to lose weight eating that much, but let's continue.
with 25 grams of high fiber, it is very hard to do that for me still. And I've been at this game for months and months and months and months now. So I wanted to share that in terms of muscle preservation, that we lose muscle as we're on the GLP-1 journey. And that's with any weight loss journey. But particularly with GLP-1 folks, as we're getting thinner, we're losing muscles. And so we got to work to counterbalance that, right? Because the biggest part of that, if that people are like, oh, it's muscle loss, whatever, it's for your bones. It's for bone health. And if we think down the pike and
Right. But if you're weight training, your bone health will be fine. If you are lifting and lifting heavy, and this is the other thing, the girls want to harp on weight training, but y'all not really training for real. like some people be like, oh, but you got to lift weight. You got to lift weights. And it's like, you're lifting barely anything that's challenging twice a week and making it seem like you're doing the hard work. Like you're not. Like if you do weight bearing, oh my gosh, I'm sore. Like yeah. Not saying you're supposed to be in pain, but like your muscles need to tear in order to grow. They need to tear. Okay. Not hurt yourself, but they need to tear. So I don't know how hard she's working, but I doubt it's very hard. And I'm not saying if she worked harder in the gym, she would lose weight. No, that's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is she's hyper focusing on all of this muscle. Just listen, let some of it go. It's fine. Like if you are continuing to work out, you're not going to lose all your muscle. I don't know. I don't know. Now, to be fair, I've talked about this recently. I've just decided I'm going to pick a struggle. I weight train. I weight train. Okay. I've put on muscle, but the times that I've put on muscle, the weight loss slowed down. That's just the nature of putting on muscle. So now that I'm toward the not maintenance, but I'm at a point where I'm trying to achieve a certain aesthetic that requires me to lose more weight. I'm increasing my muscle. Like I'm changing my priority is to get the weight off. So I have to slow down on putting on muscle. I'm going to put on more muscle later, and I'm going to be able to maintain what I have by continuing to weight train. Like if you continue to weight train, you're going to be okay, but you don't have to be focused on putting on muscle and losing body fat at the exact same time. You don't have to do that. You don't. In fact, you're causing yourself a headache trying to do both. You don't. Weight train to maintain. And if you happen to put on some muscle in the process, wonderful, which you will, but that's not the priority. The priority is getting the body fat off, which happens in the kitchen, though. Yeah. I think she might believe those big muscles will fill her loose skin. She gotta pick a struggle. If the priority, because that's what I'm doing for my my triceps right now. Okay, that's what I'm doing for my triceps. I'm trying to enlarge my triceps to fill some of this out, right? That's fine. But for me personally, not at the expense of I wasn't willing to focus on that 30 pounds ago. Like, I feel like I can afford to focus on that now. I'm just choosing not to because I want to continue to lose weight, right? So I got to pick a struggle. So I'm still working out my triceps, and I still will make them bigger to fill out some of that, not all of it, some of it. But you got to pick a priority. If you're so busy trying to make your muscles bigger, that's going to make you eat. I literally just said I'm going through the same problem. I got a little aggressive with the biceps. I got a little aggressive, and I saw the gains, but I was a hungry hippo. And I'm like, you know what? That's wonderful. That is wonderful. But that's not my priority right now. Like my priority is to make sure I'm strong, continue to lift weights. But my priority is getting the rest of this body fat off. So I can't be overdoing it with the weight training and the protein because it's going to get in the way of the weight loss. So she got to pick a struggle. She has to pick a struggle. Either she wants to fill out her loose skin now, or she wants to continue to lose weight. Like, that doesn't mean stop weight training. That means stop eating to the point of weight gain. You understand what I'm trying to say? Like, I don't know, but let's continue.
For me, I don't want to be frail when I'm older. Frequently frail women, there's a study done, and I wish I could cite my source on this so y'all know I'm scientifically based, that I do require and demand I cite my sources. I don't have the source for this one. It was off the top of my head. I'm forgetting the source. But basically, how versus macro, looking in depth on it for today and this week and this month. For me, I'm very excited to start hormone replacement therapy, HRT, with GLP-1. And how will that make me also feel, but also the distribution of my fat. You can see in my, literally, I did a video. By the time this comes out, I did it yesterday, but by the time this comes out, it'll be a couple days ago. It was an Old Navy, predominantly Old Navy, but it was like Banana Republic, Athleta, Gap haul. You can see my body shape in there. It's clearly a pair, and then I have in that lower part of my body more weight. And if we are doing waist to height ratio, which is what some people are pushing for instead of BMI for our health barometer of where we are with our weight loss and health, I do have a high waist ratio. That's where my fat is stored, is down here on the lower part of where my apron belly is. Now, once I get loose skin surgery removal, that will go away. But I do have a big chunk of fat and loose skin down there. It's a mess in a good way. Like, I'll take my battle scars. That's part of my battle scars of weighing over 300 pounds. I've somewhat made peace with that. So I'm hoping with HRT that I had read on there, it will help also with that visceral fat, which is part of it. That fat down there is not good. That can lead to health problems.
My bad, I was muted. She said a lot. Okay, I'm gonna move a little quicker because I want to show y'all the Old Navy video she's talking about, and I'm running out of time. I took a lot of notes, I told y'all. Okay, being bottom heavy. This is where it's okay to be vain. She just won't admit it. She's talking about how she's bottom heavy, and I'll show you that in the video. I don't know if that type of terminology is controversial. I'm not trying to be mean. That's what we call it in the Black community. We call it being bottom heavy when you're more pear-shaped. So that's not a derogatory term or anything like that. But that's the way I know to describe it. So she's bottom heavy, and she has an apron belly. She thinks HRT is going to fix the apron belly. And she's denying the vanity of this point, right? She's trying to make it a health concern by saying the apron belly is visceral fat. No, it's not. Visceral fat is around your organs. Apron belly is good old fashioned vein subcutaneous fat. Okay? Like, it's okay to say, I don't want this look. I don't want this to look this way. I don't like the way it looks. I think that is perfectly fine to say. She's only halfway saying it. And then she, like, let's get back to the comment that she left me on this video where she says, I'm at goal, but it's okay to want to be at a lower BMI. Duh, girl, that's what I'm saying. Like, again, I'm not making fun of her. I'm not, but duh, that's what I'm saying. What are you saying? Like, I'm saying it's okay to want to be at a lower BMI. It's okay to say whatever you want to call it. Lower BMI, lower body fat percentage, whatever you want to call it. It's okay to admit that you want to lose more weight because you want to look a certain way. Yeah. It's okay to be vain. This is a vain safe space. It is okay. Like, there's no reason to get defensive when I say you're not really at goal. Maybe you were at first, but the goalpost has moved, and that's okay. That's okay. I said this to I said this to Jen last night, and this is not like to talk about her personally. This is in general that I've seen, because I get on my own viewers about this, my own supporters. The girls will pick a goal weight that's too high because they're afraid to use BMI as a marker. They're afraid to use because BMI is controversial. Everybody hates BMI. So they pick a number out of thin air for their goal weight. We've had this conversation. How did you pick that goal? Oh, I just picked it because, it's the last time I was this way. And it's the last time I could fit this size. And when I was in high school. Okay. They just pick a number. And then when they get there or they get close to it, they realize they still have more weight that they want to lose. Maybe they don't, quote unquote, need to lose it, but they want to lose that weight. But they're scared to admit it because it's going to make them look vain. And that's why we do the Lord's work over here of providing a safe space to be vain. Okay. This is why we come here and we listen and we do not judge. Unless you're Jennifer. We listen and we do not judge, and we wrap our arms around you, Countess included, and say it is okay to say you want to lose more weight because you want to look a certain way. It is okay. And in fact, she's going to say it in this video. She glosses over it, but she's going to say it. So we're going to get to that point. We're going to get to that point. All right. Don't be scared to change your goal either. That's the other point. Like the girls pick a goal, realize it's too high, and then get all shook when it's time to change the goal. Don't be scared. Don't be scared. Change your goal. Change it. It's fine. Oh, but my surgeon, we don't care about him. You not under the knife right now. We don't care about what he's talking about. It's fine to change your goal. In fact, you're probably going to make his job easier by losing more weight. Yeah. He's not going to tell you he has to. He's not going to tell you that he has to. If Nicole is still listening, this is nope, we're almost there. The point that I was going to make earlier, and I was like, well, let me not say it. We're almost there. Okay. All right. So let's continue. I'm going to skip ahead just a little bit more. We're going to go to 13 minutes. How close are we? Yeah, we're going to go to 13 minutes.
Word, where it's way more difficult than I feel like this should be. I feel like this is so in depth. Oh my gosh, there's a groundhog just ran past. I hope no one's chasing him. He was running really quickly. Oh my goodness. Going back to what the original intention was with the blueprint with this. So for me, it was starting GLP-1 first and then HRT. But what I've been reading in terms of studies are, and the studies I looked, and feel free to correct me in the comments if I'm wrong, but the studies that have been out are post-menopausal women on HRT with GLP-1. I looked and could not find, and again, please fill me in if you have different studies on this, but from my research and looking and prepping for the show, was that perimenopausal women who are not in full-blown menopause yet, perimenopausal women, that there's no studies that have been done yet on perimenopausal women with GLP-1.
So you're just making this shit up. You said all of that to finally get to the point of another one of Countess's theories just being made up. Another one of her hypotheses just being made up. So in case you missed it, she did all that work talking about her theory behind HRT and GLP-1 and how this is the answer for her, just to get to the point and say the studies that she has found have been on post-menopausal women. There are no studies on how perimenopausal women and GLP-1s, like how like the types of results that they would have. So you just made it up. You're assuming that the studies of the postmenopausal women will apply to you, is what you're saying. That's what you're saying. There's no research on your perimenopausal plus GLP-1 theory. And I don't even think that's the biggest deal in the world. It's just the way that she delivers stuff. It's like, you don't see a problem with that? Like you are creating all of these theories based on research that don't apply to you. Maybe it means nothing. Maybe it means nothing. Let's get to the last part of this video where she talks about her surgeon. This is the part that I was going to say earlier about Nicole's point, but let's get to the last part. 15 minutes. Let's go.
Usually people are quite close to where they want to. It's lower numbers like this to get to the end destination of where someone wants to be. And I know for me, that's the ball of wax. If it's a variation of not that much weight, I'm at goal weight, by the way. People get very confused when I talk about this. They're like, either it is or it isn't. I'm like, step down, Cindy Lou Who. That's what my doctor told me. And I'm going to take my doctor's advice and not some random stranger on the internet. So you don't need to like viscerally like, come at me, go see a therapist, not me. People get very enraged when I talk about that. I'm like,
well, you heard her, Jen. You heard her. She's at goal weight because that's what her surgeon said. So back up off her. But what I have to say is, if she's roughly 188 pounds minimum, could be heavier, but can't be lighter based on her numbers, your surgeon wants to give you overweight plastic surgery. That is what I was going to say earlier to Nicole's point. Your surgeon, right? That you're, I'm going to listen to my surgeon and not some stranger on the internet. Okay. Just be clear that your surgeon wants to give you overweight plastic surgery. Because if you're 188 pounds at 5'10", you're definitely overweight. If you're heavier than that, then you're definitely overweight. Like either way you slice this, Either way you slice this, if your surgeon is telling you now that you're at goal, act like you're at goal, that's what she said, those were her words, then your surgeon wants to give you overweight plastic surgery. Do with that what you will, but I will say this, okay? I will say this. Let's discuss letting your doctor dictate where your goal is. How are they coming up with that number? Can't be BMI. Because, well, I mean, it could be. I don't know. Y'all tell me. How are they coming up with that number? Because if they're using BMI, then your doctor's, again, comfortable with you being in overweight category. Maybe he wasn't okay with obese and he's okay with overweight and is picking where he's willing to do the surgery. What does that have to do with what you want? What does that have to do with what you want? He's picking a number based on where he's comfortable doing surgery because they have to be mindful of whether or not you can actually make it through the surgery, right? You got to get anesthesia and all of that. So your body weight is important. I get all of that. But he's speaking from the perspective of the person that has to do the surgery. What about what you want? What if you want to go into surgery at a lighter weight? That is where this cognitive dissonance comes in, where she's not happy with her weight. She's not happy with the way her body fat is proportion, which is fine. A lot of us have experienced that, but you're saying you're at goal when really you're at your surgeon's goal. Stop me when I'm lying. Newsflash, you get to say that you want to keep losing weight, yeah? You get to say that to your surgeon, to your PCP, to your obesity specialist, to your dietitian. Like, if you're not underweight, you get to say you want to keep losing weight. You don't have to get surgery now, which she already, I don't even know if we covered that part. I don't even know if she said it. She goes on to say that she's not getting weight loss surgery yet because she's waiting on Retta. And again, if we go with the higher guesstimation of her BMI, then she's still going to be overweight after her surgery because her surgeon told her that she has 10 to 13 pounds of skin to remove. So if that's true, and we use the range of weight that we came out with earlier, that we guessed, she could still be overweight after her skin surgery. And skin removal can be done in rounds. I just don't see why not. You know you want to lose more weight. So I just don't see why not lose more weight and then get the skin removal, which, again, I don't know why I keep saying that, because even she's agreeing with that. She just won't outright say it. Here's the last part of the stream of the video that I want to get to, because this is where my last timestamp is, because I had to go work out. And then we're going to play a little bit of her try on haul so you can see the hyperventilating that I was talking about, and then we'll get out of here, okay? Like the stream if you haven't already. This part about the surgeon is crazy.
My plastic surgeon said that I would lose 10 to 13 pounds from my loose skin surgery. And so that put me into goal weight. So he's like, you're at goal weight. Like, act as if you're at goal weight because you are.
Oh, I get it. Her surgeon didn't even say she's at goal weight. Her surgeon said, from where you are now, when I remove 10 to 13 pounds, you will be at goal. So act like you're at goal. To me, that's even worse. Stop listening to your surgeon, girl. Get out. That's even worse. That's, to me, now y'all can disagree, but to me, that's even worse. Like, you're not losing any more weight, but you're trying to pretend that you're done losing weight because your surgeon is telling you, you don't got to lose any more weight. I'm going to take off another 10 to 13 pounds. If you're still on the higher end of a BMI and he takes off 10 to 13 pounds, you're not going to be on the lower end of the BMI that she mentioned in her comment to me. Sounds like there's a gap here, Countess, between what you want and what your surgeon is telling you. There seems to be a gap here. You know there's a gap. You don't want to acknowledge the gap because you want to be able to say, but my surgeon, but my surgeon, but my surgeon, instead of saying, well, I decided X, Y, and Z. This is what I'm going to do. This is how I'm going to do it. Let me get to my last timestamp. 16:30. Let me get to my last timestamp. Lord. Let me get to it.
Would be amazing. I'm like, that's all I really want. It's just a little that I know would boost my confidence so much. This study of the HRT plus tirzepatide, Zepbound Mounjaro, that 5% body weight variation to me would be amazing. I'm like, that's all I really want. It's just a little that I know would boost my confidence so much. And again, people are like, well, you need to be doing this and this. I'm like, I am. And this is where
That's the last timestamp of this video. So I will end out by saying, girl, it is okay to be vain. She just admitted it. She just admitted that she's just a little vain. We're a little vain over here, Countess girl. It is okay. It's okay. Now, I don't think HRT is going to do what she thinks it's going to do. But what do I know? I don't know. But her real issue is she just want to take a little off the front, which is really probably a lot because she's lost a lot of weight, right? But according to her, she just want to take a little off the front to boost her confidence. I think that we subscribe over here to confidence boosting. We subscribe to get into normal BMIs. We subscribe to lower end of normal BMIs. We subscribe to being to having whatever aesthetic we want and pursuing that. Once we're out of danger medically, once we're out of obesity and our type 2 diabetes is under control, blood pressure, all of that, inflammation, once we're out of danger medically, we pursue vanity because we don't give a fuck what nobody else talking about. The problem is she does care what everybody else has to say. I know she does. That's why she's always like, be kind, be nice. I don't think there's anything wrong with telling the audience to be nice, but let's get back to what I said at the beginning. There's a difference between like being honest and being mean. You know what I mean? And a lot of times in this space, people are allergic to honesty and perspective, and everything is perceived as an attack. Okay, well then feel attacked. Feel attacked. You can hardly say, I just want to take a little bit off the front without getting pushback in your own space. Apparently. We say, I want to take a little off the front, the back, the sides, the up, the down, the left, the right, and I'm not stopping until it's gone. And it's okay. As long as you're healthy, we're fine. It's okay to be a little vain. So she admits she just wants a little confidence boost. I don't care if it's a huge confidence boost. I think it's perfectly fine to feel that way and to just be honest about it and stop pulling yourself in so many different directions. Oh, my dietitian want me to eat 2,000 calories a day. Oh, my dietitian telling me to eat 160 grams of protein. Oh, but I know I need to eat less to lose weight. Oh, but my surgeon say I don't need to lose any more weight because he's going to cut 10 pounds off. Oh, but I need Retta to lose 10 pounds. Girl, it is okay to just pick a struggle. Oh, but I got to put on all this muscle because I don't want to be frail and fall when I'm 80. Unsolicited advice. Pick a struggle. Pick a target and walk toward that motherfucker. Pick a target. This is what happens when you have no goal. You have no goal. Talking about goal weights, I'm at goal. If you're telling yourself you're at goal, you don't have any direction. Like, you're fine. You're fine where you are, but you're not fine. You're not. So you need to pick a direction and go that way. Instead, you're trying to go 5 different ways and then looking for answers in HRT, Yale studies, supplements, all of these different things. Retta, higher doses of Zepbound. Like, pick a direction. And from my perspective, all of this entire stream was to say, in my opinion, you want to lose more weight and you're afraid to admit it. That's why you won't pick a goal. You're afraid of looking vain. You're afraid. If she would just say, you know what? Let's say she don't want to tell us her goal, her current weight or her goal weight, and she wants to just keep that portion to herself. She can still pick a target and do her content. I'm doing the same thing. I don't have time to be hearing people cry about what my goal weight is. Like, not because I give up what people have to say, but I don't want to, again, like I said, I don't want to constantly tell people that I don't care. This is what I'm doing. My experience with my channel has been, if I share something that people don't understand or agree with, I got to hear a bunch of crying, and I don't got time for all that shit. I got to hear a bunch of crying. Like, it's okay to disagree, but it's the fear that gets like, you know what? I'm just not gonna, don't. I'd rather, like I said before, I'd rather scare 20 people than 200. Okay. And then when I get to where I'm going, then I will reveal the thing that everybody would have been scared about had I told them 30, 40 pounds ago. You know what I mean? So that's different. That's a little more calculated. So I'm not even saying she has to tell people what her goal is, but pick a damn goal, girl. Pick something. Say, she said, I want to be on the lower end of the BMI. That's what she said. She's 5'10", female, 45 years old. When I looked it up, lower end is 130 pounds. Now, I know this is not based on the eye test. This is based on the BMI scale that she said she was using, and I'm team use the BMI. I don't give a shit what nobody talking about. You may look at Countess and say, oh my God, 130 is too small. I don't subscribe to all that dumbass shit. If you ain't there yet, you don't know what's too small. If you ain't ever been there, you don't know. You don't know. The second somebody proves me wrong and says, you know what, V, you were wrong. I went to the lower end of the BMI, and yeah, I think that's too small, and this is why. Okay. But so far, everybody that gives me this pushback of, oh, 130 is too small. Oh, 120 is too small. Oh, this is too small. One, it depends on your height. Or one, it depends on your height. Second of all, if you're not looking at it in front of you, you don't know what too small is. You don't know. We don't have an epidemic of people walking around looking too small and being underweight. You don't know. Okay. So this is based on your height, and it's based on the aesthetic that you're looking for. I'm not promoting anybody be underweight, but if we're using the BMI, which she is, if you don't want to use the BMI, don't use it. She's using BMI. Okay. She says she wants to be on the lower end. That is 130 to 140 pounds. I would not look at Countess and say, oh my gosh, she's going to be thin and frail. I don't know. She ain't there yet. I don't know. I know there was a lot of people that told me when I was 240, I was going to look frail at 140. I'm 145. Do I look frail to you? Do I look frail to you? So because I know people get outrageous with their assumptions, I don't subscribe. Okay. I don't subscribe. People get all beside themselves. We don't know until she gets there. Okay. And according to the BMI, which is what she wants to use, she can get there if she wants to. But let's say she doesn't. Let's say she wants to be 150. Oh, I think at that height, that's too small for her. You don't know, because she not 150. You don't know. She don't know. Okay. So again, she's afraid of being vain. Most of the people are afraid of being vain. That's why I'm over here doing the Lord's work. Amen. That is why I'm over here doing the Lord's work, telling you to snap out of it. 9 times out of 10, the goal that you picked is too heavy, and you know it's too goddamn heavy. Even if it's not too heavy medically, aesthetically, it's too heavy. It is. But we're gonna get into a little more of that, and then I'm gonna wrap up. All right. And I'm not trying to be mean. I'm just being honest and blunt about it. Okay. I think for some people, size 14 is fine as a goal. She is tall. Nerd, I love you, but I don't. Okay. I don't care what her goal is. I'm saying she doesn't have one. And to be honest with you, since you put it out there, I think making a pant size your goal is dumb. Like, not that a person is dumb, but I think that's a dumb way with vanity sizing. I think that's a dumb way to pick a goal. I get on the girls, y'all in the chat. I get on the girls about this all the time. Why is your goal based on a pant size? Like, why is that your goal? Like, and y'all be beefing over BMI, but your goal size be a pant size. And then you say, I think for some people, size 14 is fine. According to who? According to who? It makes no sense, because people are different heights. Like you said, she is tall. So trying to pick a goal based on a pant size makes no sense. But if you have a goal pant size, great. I'm not here to take that away from you. I think that that's dumb. I think that that's dumb. Hey, Journey girl. Even if you're shorter, you can still want size 14. Nerd, I think you're projecting, girl. I think you're projecting. I think you're projecting. I'm 5'10". I can't be 130 with all my booty. What does that have to do with what we're talking about? You don't have to be 130 if you don't want to be. We ain't talking about you. Like, I love you. I heart you. I'm not being mean and I'm not fussing, but I'm just trying to like snap out of it. Like, you don't get to decide. We don't get to decide what everybody should be okay with. We don't get to decide that. But I'm speaking from the experience that most of y'all pick goals that are big as hell, and then you get to that goal and you're scared to change it. I'm not saying you have to pick a goal that is small. She said, I want to be on the lower end of BMI, which is 130 for her height. And then you say, I can't be 130. Nobody's talking about you. I know it sounds like I'm fussing, but really I'm rushing because I got to go walk. But I know it sounds like I'm fussing, but I promise you I'm not. This is coming from a place of love. Y'all be projecting like a mug. Like, I'm not talking about you. She said she wants to be on the lower end of a BMI. I am vain and I support her vanity. I support your version of vanity. If your version is 150, then I support that. I support that. Mind you, BMI and weight on the scale doesn't tell us anything about body composition. We're just talking based on what she is saying. I'm not telling her or you or anyone else where they need to be. Okay, the stream is about Countess. It's not about Nerd, Journey, Jennifer, Sydney. It's not about anybody else. It's about her. So whatever y'all choose to do for your lives, that's great. Whatever I choose to do is wonderful. Okay, and stuff like that is why I don't bother with what my goal is, because people will start to when you tell them your goal, right? People start to project, well, I can't get that small. I don't want to be that small. I think that's too small. I think it's fine to be this size. That don't got nothing to do with what we talking about, though. That don't have nothing to do with what we talking about, though. You know? Nope. 14 is still plus size. She doesn't want to be plus. Exactly. I was trying not to say it, but exactly. This is why I'm not doing this based on the eye test. And when you talk about size 14 jeans or jean size, part of that is the eye test. It is. That's why it's safe to just go with BMI. I know y'all don't like the scale. I know y'all don't like it. I know it doesn't tell you about muscle composition. I know. I understand that. But like, I'm quote unquote slightly overweight, but look how much muscle I got. I get it. I understand. I get it. I understand. Like, BMI is not everything. I understand. But like, listen, she don't want to say it, so I'm going to say it. Countess wants to be a skinty girl. She wants to be a skinty girl, but she can't say that because people are going to jump down her throat. In my opinion, she wants to be a skinty girl. This is my opinion. In my opinion, she don't want to be thick. She don't want to be full. She don't want to be plus. She don't want to be big. She don't want to be wide. She don't want to be chubby. She don't want none of that. If that's your thing, whoever in the chat, y'all watching in the clouds, if that's your thing, that's your thing. That's fine. We're a little vain over here. So if being a little vain means you like to be a little heavy, okay, fine. She don't want that. She don't want that. She wants to be a skinty girl and she's scared to say it. She's scared to say it. And I'm just here to say, if that's what you want, you gotta commit to it. So let's say she picks a goal. Pick a goal of 140, 150, whatever it is. Lower. She said lower end. So that's why I keep saying 130, 135. That's why I keep saying that, because she said lower end. I don't know if she knows what lower end means. I don't know. I'm just taking her word for it. So she wants to be on the lower end. Okay, great. 135. I'll give you 140. Okay? I'll give you 140. Pick a goal and head for that. She's scared to pick it. She's scared. And that's why she's going to stay stuck. Because she don't want to admit, maybe I'm out of danger medically. The rest of this weight loss is vanity. This next 50 pounds, 40 pounds is because I want to look a certain way. And there's no guarantee that I'm going to look the way I want to look when I get to a weight, but I'm willing to get there and find out. I'm willing to get there and find out. That's what I see. Like that. I mean, that's what I would say. You don't know how you're going to look when you get to 150, but you're not going to be underweight. So get there and find out. You don't know how you're going to look at 130. If you get to 150 and you still feel like you still got too much body fat, there are plenty of people that would tell me I'm perfectly fine to stop losing weight. Okay. I think I look fabulous. There are plenty of people that would tell me I'm perfectly fine to stop losing weight. Okay. I am
3 pounds, 5 pounds, 5 pounds away from a quote unquote normal BMI. Guess who's losing more than 5 pounds because I feel like it? Guess who's losing more than 5 pounds because I feel like it? Because I'm vain and I feel like it. I feels like it, nerd. I feels like it, nerd. I feels like it, girl. I feels like it, girl. Okay? I feels like it. So it's fine. I'm just saying it's fine. And more people need to admit that it's fine. No, she wasn't talking to me. She wasn't talking to me. Hey, June girl. Remember, this is your journey. You choose your physical aesthetics for you. Love how I look and I'm happy. Yeah. Yeah. Like I'm just saying. So anyway, let's wrap up, right? Let's wrap up. Thank you for being a good sport nerd. Like, but sometimes I gotta tell y'all be on some other stuff. Oh, I got you, nerd. You was responding to, because sometimes y'all be talking to each other and I'll be like, that's not what I said. And it's like, V, we wasn't even talking to you. I'm sorry. My bad. My bad. Got a little worked up there. How are you, nerd? Don't unsubscribe. Okay. So anyway. So let me show y'all this last part and then we'll get out of here so I can go do my walk. Okay. All right. All right. This is the last one. This was the video that was originally sent to me and why we're well, the first 2 videos we did is why we're here, but this is the video that was sent to me that made me go do a little research and look at her other videos. This is the video where I asked her, like, does this stress you out? You seem a little like overwhelmed. Like, are you okay? I swear to everything I love, I was not being sarcastic. I was not trying to poke at her. I was not trying to make fun. I'm like, I don't get worried about people on the internet. I don't get worried. I think I have a soft spot for Countess. It may not appear this way. People think I don't like her. Let me be very clear. I don't have any feelings toward her, like any negative feelings toward her. I don't have any negative feelings toward her. People think when I react to her, it's a reflection of me not liking her. It's not that. I actually have a soft spot for Countess because she's one of the channels that I first watched when I started my journey. I just don't watch anymore because her content is not for me anymore. That's it. Like, and when I react to her, it's because people send me her videos, like, look at this, and then I react to it. So when I watched this, I was a little concerned. So I left a comment and nothing really came of it. But let me let you guys see what I saw. And then you can tell me if I was, not if I was reaching, but you can tell me what your impression is of her demeanor and we can get out of here. This is the video that I originally saw. And let me slow it down so it's not misleading. It's already on normal speed.
40 women's fashion. I'm so excited for today.
And to be clear, before y'all start leaving comments, this is not to critique the way that she looks or her body. If I point out anything, it's going to be what she pointed out about where her weight sits, right? Remember I said bottom heavy earlier because that's how we describe it in the Black community. She was talking about how she's a lot of her weight, she's like more pear-shaped. But be nice. I'm not here to be specific about her looks or anything like that. If you don't like the way she looks, please keep it to yourself. Like, I don't have time for that right now. All right, so I'm gonna let this play.
Today's episode, I have got a ton of over 40 fashion for you for my fall fashion haul. First up, I am wearing some undergarments that I'm going to show you with and without. And with and without. But first up, you guys had asked in my last video, hey Elizabeth, what about the Amazon Essentials, the clothing brand? Is it worth buying? So I bought it with my own money and went to go see if this is the Amazon Essentials top, size medium. The pants are size 14 jeans. They were very tight. Putting them on, just FYI, you may need to size up. These ended up fitting, but so much, it concerned me so much. I was like, do I gain weight? I'm the same weight I have been. It's just the jeans were much tighter for Amazon Essentials. And I will link these, by the way, my dog's toys right there. I will link these all below. If you're on your cell phone, it's gonna be on the side, a YouTube shopping sticker. If you're on your TV, a QR code will pop up on the left or the right-hand side. If you're on your laptop or a tablet, it's gonna pop up down below. So click on all of those as we go through. These shoes are my new favorite obsession. I am obsessed with the kind of retro look with them as well. But my undergarments, let me talk about my undergarments for a second. This is with, I'm wearing, the undergarment cuts right here. Can you tell? You cannot. Don't say you can, because you cannot. It's a high-waisted thigh minimizer. So it goes to my thighs and cuts up here. It is keeping things snatched. If you know me, I've lost 113 pounds. I have a loose skin. I'm eventually going to be having loose skin surgery. But like even for my arms with the looser skin, I mean, I lift, but I like the way that this sleeve is cutting, but I love the way that this, it's supposed to be for your thigh minimizer and belly. I do have an apron belly. I'm size medium top, 12, 14 bottoms, 5, 10 and a half. And so a lot of loose skin in here. It's sucking that in for me, honey. I'm sucking it in right now. Let's just keep it real. Tell truth, chin devil. I am sucking it in. But like, it's keeping things snatched in here for me. That is a Countess of Shopping approved. Absolutely run and go get this thigh minimizer right now. It cuts up high, and my I'll show you. I'm wearing the cocoa color. And then the belt is from Banana Republic. And I got from Banana Republic also.
Shani says she seems out of breath. Somebody pointed that out in the comments. When I was watching, it seemed to me, it seemed like more than just being out of breath. Like, cause it goes on for the whole entire try on haul. It seemed like, not just being out of breath, but like almost to the point of like hyperventilating and trying to talk through hyperventilating and being anxious and kind of being like nervous. Like it almost gives, and I don't know, I haven't watched other try on hauls. Maybe this is normal. I don't know. Maybe it's nothing, but it's almost like she seems very uncomfortable. Okay. She seems very uncomfortable. She seems very worked up. She doesn't seem like she's having fun with her try on haul. She seems like she doesn't like the clothes that she's trying on. I'm not saying I don't like them. I think she looks great. Oh, the shapewear might be squeezing too tight. That could be it. In my opinion, she seems a little like she's doing the try on haul, but that she'd rather not be doing it, or that she doesn't like the clothes that she's putting on. Or she also points out a lot that her clothes are tight, okay? Which can be very uncomfortable, like buttoning her pants, buttoning her jacket, closing a sweat. Like, she points out that her clothes are tight and it seems like it makes her uncomfortable. And it's like, well, if your clothes are tight, girl, then buy bigger sizes, unless she bought these and then gained weight, which of course would be uncomfortable. But if it's uncomfortable, you don't have to do the haul, is the point that I was trying to make. That's what I was trying to understand. But she's like, no, I'm just busy. I got the kids. It's summer and blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, okay, but she seems uncomfortable. Like, she don't seem like she likes these clothes that she's trying on, and maybe because it's tight. Maybe because it's too tight. And if it's too tight because she bought it before and then gained weight, I could see why that would be uncomfortable, but maybe don't do the haul unless you're going to buy bigger clothes, or like, you know, when your weight starts to go back in the right direction again, so the clothes fit comfortably. But it doesn't seem like any of it fits comfortably, right? So this is just my opinion, right? This is not, I was sent this video. So yes, my opinion was solicited, not by Countess, but it was solicited. So I'm just expressing how I see things, and maybe I'm off, but let me play it a little longer.
I had asked my Louis Vuitton rep. Louis Vuitton has a bracelet like this. This is from Banana Republic. It tightened it a little bit, noticeably, and particularly right in here, I feel it. I'm like, why is it so tight right in here? Like, it was much more snatched with this than without. I wanted to switch out my bra underneath and my top.
Jen, you took the words out of my mouth. I wish you would just come up here and help. Jen says those jeans are tight. That's why we size up. We need to dress with what makes us look good. Don't worry about the size. I was going to let her go on a little longer before I made this point, but that's exactly what I was going to say. I am a huge fan. I've been saying this on repeat lately, but I've said it for a while. I am a huge fan of wearing what you consider to be flattering, what you consider to look good. But it has to also be comfortable too, right? Not so comfortable that we're making our clothes frumpy and baggy and, you know, but discomfort can go to the other extreme where the clothes are too tight. And sometimes if your clothes are too big or too small, not only are they uncomfortable physically, but they don't look the way you want them to look. Did she say that it doesn't look the way she wants it to look? No, but that's what I'm picking up. Okay. So again, now nerd and others, this is why I said goals based on pant sizes is dumb. This is why I think that's dumb, because what if this jean size was her goal size and now it don't fit, but she trying to squeeze into it? Forget about the size. like granted, I did a try on haul where I hadn't bought jeans in like a year. It wasn't a haul. I went to go find my pant size at Old Navy, and I hadn't tried on jeans in a year. And I had made it up to like a size 22 in pants. So I thought that by the time I went to go try on new pants, I would be like a 16 or an 18. Turns out I was a 10, and I was really excited about it, but not because a 10 was the goal, but because it was a reflection of how far I had come. The pant size was never the goal. Now I do believe in weight goals. I do. But like the pant size was never the goal. Ever since then, I don't even know what size pants I wear, because it literally, like, maybe I'm speaking from a high horse, but it literally doesn't matter, because you could be a small and that shit will stretch to oblivion. So it just kind of takes the fun out of sizing, honestly. But yeah, like it was a one-time thing. Nurse says I remember that. It was fun. I was like, because I hadn't been a 10 in a long time, but I never had a pants size goal. So it was shocking to be a size 10, but not because the size 10 has some level of importance. It was because it's like, damn girl, you waited a long time to buy some pants. Like, you waited a long time. You done dropped 87 sizes. So yeah, I was surprised. But since then, you don't see me trying to figure out what size pants I'm at. I don't know. I don't know. But I mean, if you do, like, if people care about that type of stuff, I'm not saying don't care. I'm saying use something else as that holds more weight as far as like a unit of measure, because I would take my weight on the scale over my pant size any day. But that's me personally. Maybe some people feel the opposite. I would take my pant size over my weight on the scale. But it doesn't look like her clothes fit comfortably. So let's watch a little longer. Let's watch a little longer.
Top's Banana Republic, and then the bra that I'm wearing is actually the under outfit. It's the perfect neckline one, and so size 460. Large for me. I normally wear a size medium top. This is a size medium top from Banana Republic. I do not have that cincher on. I can see it right here. I can see it. It's not cinching, and I wish I had put it on. But this.
So she took the shapewear off? And she's still out of breath? Is that what happened?
Bra. Oh my gosh. I'm going to be getting a breast lift surgery in the future. And so I just lifted them up. Don't stir too much, but it has on there the adjustable. It's got the buttons on there, which I like to snatch my waist in. I wish I had my thigh protectors on. I'm feeling somewhat uncomfortable right now. I'm like, oh my low hair.
You know what I think happened now that I'm watching this? I think she shopped her closet. That's why all these clothes look like they don't fit her the way that she wants. I think she shopped her closet, which is something that we do. I have a video like that as well. Again, if it's uncomfortable, don't do it. You understand what I'm saying? Like, I think it's perfectly fine to shop your closet and do a haul and show the people, but it's kind of like, she just seems a bit worked up. But I don't think she went out and bought these clothes because if she did, they would fit better. I think she shopped her closet, stuff that she hadn't worn yet, or bought a long time ago, and now she's trying them on, which is fine, but like they don't fit completely, and it's obvious that it makes her uncomfortable.
Handles are hanging out. But this one, I like the way that the cut is. Let me unbutton it. I'll show you. Anyway, stay tuned. I'm going to do some workout clothes too. This is tight. It's size medium. I typically wear a size medium as well. And it has a cinching button, which I'm not sure I'm going to be able to cinch. I don't know. It is tight. It is. I wish I had gotten a size up. Let me start buttoning it so you guys.
Or maybe she did buy these recently because she said she wished she had sized up. So why didn't you? So we're back at So we're back at square one, which is, why aren't you sizing up? We're back at square one. If this stuff is new, she keeps saying, I'm typically a medium. I'm typically a medium. Girl, you already admitted that you gained weight. Why? Like, I mean, I don't know. Maybe I'm tripping. Maybe I'm tripping. Okay, it is new stuff. But like, why are you buying new? So that makes it work. Like, we're back at square one. Why are you buying new stuff that doesn't fit? Like, you would be better off just not shopping at all. Cause I know what it's like to not want to buy bigger clothes. Like when you gain weight. Okay, great. So what you do is you don't shop at all. That's what you do. Like if you have to buy bigger clothes because you're gaining weight and you don't want to do that because you plan to lose weight in the future or whatever, you just don't buy the clothes.
Can see what it looks like. I like this jacket. I like the way that it cuts in. It does have pockets on it. Size medium. It's cute. The fabric is thick, which will be nice for winter. It does puff out a little bit like the Muffin Man, but I have a pear-shaped body, so I like that it cuts in here. It does cut higher because of the pockets right here, which is fine. Just smooth it down a little bit.
She's still breathing heavy. Okay.
Here's the next jacket.
This color is cute.
I just got it in the color pink. They both were.
That is her color. We see me and Countess low-key sisters. Pink is our color, girl. Pink is our color. Oh my God. Pink is our color. That looks good.
On sale. The prices were exceptional when I bought mine. So again, double check. They have a ton of colors too.
I saw this one when I was watching this and I'm like, this looks so good on her. But she seems so stressed. She seems so stressed out.
A fashion show. Bra.
Pink is her color, for sure.
Can we talk about lace, feminine, gorgeous bras? Look how gorgeous that lace is. It's beautiful. It's in so many different colors. Bodysuit on. This is also from. I will go over to Amazon.
Now let me tell y'all something. This is. I hope this does not come off as offensive. If it does, I'm willing to cut this part out of my video, okay? Because I am about to comment on her body, but I am the content creator. Y'all shut up in the chat and shut up, okay? Don't say nothing. Countess got hips for days. Now, granted, in my community, hips are praised. In other communities, maybe not so much, okay? But where she is right now, I'm not telling her how she has to look or should look. I'm okay with her wanting to be a skinty girl. Like, some of us want to be skinty girls. But people pay to look like that, girl. Candace, I keep saying Candace. Countess has a body right now after losing 100 pounds that people pay to achieve. Her proportions, she has good proportions. Now, I understand having good proportions and being heavier than you want to be. That makes sense, right? That makes sense. But if she wants to lose more weight, it's only up from here. Like, listen, this is a mess. This is a goddamn mess. I should not say this. But I'm gonna say it. Countess, keep losing weight. She gonna be eating half the girls in the space. She's going to be eating the girls up with that body. And I'm saying this as a compliment, but I have to be considerate that she may not like her shape. She may not like her shape. She may not like her shape. I personally like her shape. Her shape is more like my shape. Okay. We're wide in the hips and, you know, a little smaller in the waist. Okay. We got the front part. So maybe I'm biased because we kind of, you know, we have similar shapes. Okay. But that's just my biased opinion. And if it's offensive, you know, I'll take this part out. I'll cut it out. I'll cut it out because, you know, whatever. I mean, the pink is cute. One thing she's going to do is get you to add something to your cart. I'm usually a small. I had to return something for a dreaded medium. It happens. It depends on the brand. I've never seen her lower body in a video like this. Yes, I hadn't either until I watched this. So here's the part where I will comment on what she had to say about her own body, which is that she has an apron belly, which I'm assuming is tucked into her pants, which is fine. We pull our pants up over our stomach all the time, a lot of us. And that she's pear-shaped, right? Me too. I give the illusion of an hourglass because I work out on my shoulders. I give the illusion of a Coke bottle because I work out on my shoulders. But yeah, I'm more pear-shaped too, where we dip it in the middle. We're small up top, we dip it in the middle, we busty, and then we're wide at the hips, okay? So I have a similar shape. But she wants that lower part to be less pronounced. And the only way to do that, girl, is to keep losing that body fat and then get the skin surgery. I did not have to get skin removal surgery, but she has more weight to lose than I did. So I'm assuming she will need, well, she's already had a consultation for skin removal. Okay. So we know that's going to happen, but skin removal at this stage is not going to help her. Like she has to keep, she don't got to do nothing. I don't know. I'm being vain about it because she won't do it. She don't want to be vain about it, but she wants to drop nuggets. Okay, so hypothetically, if we're going to be vain about it, she has to keep losing weight to get part of the aesthetic that she's looking for. It may not be exact, but that's what she has to do. She has to keep losing weight. What, June? Y'all don't have to agree with me. Y'all don't have to agree with me. This is the perfect example of if the curves aren't yours, they won't go away. Exactly. But she may not like curves. And I don't want to put that on her, like force her like, oh, she gotta like it. How dare you not like your curves? If she doesn't like it, she doesn't like it. But the girls drop a bag to look like that. The girls drop a bag to look like that is all I'm saying. All styles are not meant for all bodies. I've learned that I can't wear fashionable dresses because they are too short-waisted. So they don't hit me in the right places. That makes sense. That makes sense. Some styles are not for her. That makes sense. I'm showing after going in for 2 hours plus a compliment wouldn't be offensive. Hello, me going in. I mean, that's your opinion. I don't feel like I was going in. I don't feel like I was going in. To me, Jen, she would be eating the girls up, but everybody feels differently about everything. I say that as a tongue-in-cheek like compliment. But you know, she may not like being hippie, but like, I just, you know, it's all a matter of perspective. You know what I mean? Like some of us are people that others would want to look like, and some of us want to look like other people, right? And some of us are fine with the way that we look. Okay. I'm perfect no matter where you are on the spectrum, as long as you're being realistic. And I think it's realistic for her to want to be smaller. I think it's realistic for her to want to be smaller. I don't think it's realistic to think that HRT is going to fix her apron belly, but I do think it's realistic for her to continue to lose weight. Whether or not we feel like she should do that with Retta is irrelevant. I think it's realistic for her to want to lose weight. I will go out on a limb and say, I think it's realistic for her to lose another 40 to 50 pounds, depending on what type of look she's looking for. But them hips ain't going nowhere. Like, she can lose fat around the hips. She can lose fat around the hips if she wants to. I did. Like, she can do it. But as far as her shape, that pear shape, that's bone structure, girly pop. That's bone structure. That pear shape ain't going nowhere, but she can improve upon it if she wants to. But I'm not saying she should. This is just a matter of vanity that I think she's too afraid to admit. But I think she looks fantastic. I think this looks really good on her.
And see if they have it. So I have my Amazon Essentials bodysuit on. This is also from Amazon as well, with my leggings as well. I'm wearing a bodysuit on my flapjack booty, but I like also the cut. I have a pear shape, so it's cut nice. It's about up in here is where the leggings go, and of course my slip-on sneakers. So this wrap, I ended up getting it in the blue. They have it in pink. The high-waisted ones are perfection in terms of the compression with them as well. Absolutely love the way that they feel. They just cinch everything.
She talked about having a flat butt. I've mentioned that a lot. And the reality is you just got to work on it in the gym. But it's not just that. You have to, in order to see more of your muscle come through, some of the fat just has to go. I'll leave it at that. I'll leave it at that.
In to make it look tighter. And then my slip-on shoe, or my tie shoes, excuse me, they're from Nordic 8. They're camis. 5'10.5", it cuts down on my.
She's still breathing heavy. And I don't think it's because she's heavy. I don't think that's what it is. Like, I think she's worked up about trying on these clothes, but I could be wrong. I could be wrong. So I was worried about like the heavy breathing.
We gotta get our posture, ladies and gentlemen. So absolutely love this one. I like this top a lot. I'll get it in different colors. I didn't realize it very much reminds me of the Athleta one I have, not fitting and having ill fit. So this is a little bit bigger than
That looks good on her, in my opinion.
I like. That's okay. I like the color. To me, it was about the color. I would buy a separate blazer, a size medium blazer, size extra large pants for me. And then this is the Amazon Essentials medium bodysuit. Also got in another color. I like it. I wish the sleeves cut longer, but what can you do? It'd be cute with my Banana Republic longer sleeves one if I just wore the.
Yeah, this seems like I don't know. Maybe it's nothing. That was the video that was sent to me. I was a little concerned, so I asked her, was she stressed out? And she just basically said she had a lot on her plate. I don't know, but it seemed like that whole process was a lot for her. So I went through the other videos because before saying too much, I just wanted to get an idea of what her content has been lately. And that was why I took notes on the other two videos. Said all of that to say, in my conclusion, my perspective is that Countess is pulling herself in 50 different directions. She's appealing to authority instead of thinking for herself. She's trying to find answers in research and supplements and hormones. All of those things can be helpful tools, but you still have to be able to think for yourself, and not only think for yourself, but you got to be able to pick a direction and commit to it. Okay. I know what it's like to want to lose weight and put on muscle at the same time. I get it. I know what it's like, but when those two things, like it works for a little while. And then when those two things start to conflict, like the scale is going up and it's not going down, then yeah, you gotta pick a struggle. And she just doesn't want to admit that it'll probably make her feel better to just pick the weight loss and then focus on the muscle, less aggressively along the way. And then you can always get aggressive with the muscle later. Like, I don't know, but fix that belly. You got the funds to get it, girl. I never met a woman who regretted a tummy tuck. All walks of life. Come get some of these Skims. That booty will be lifted. I need to get on a Skims bandwagon. Maybe we'll talk about it another stream, nerd. But I was about to ask what your size and stuff is, because maybe you could get on the Sisterhood of the Traveling Skims bandwagon now. But yeah, Skims is that girl. I'm not a Skims every day kind of girl, but Skims is that girl. Skims is that girl. And shapewear helps. It does. But if you want that shapewear body outside of shapewear, you got to hit the weights for one, and you got to lose the body fat. I'm not calling her fat. In fact, I don't think she's fat, but she's tall and she has more body fat than she wants. She should lose it. I don't know why we got to jump through 50,000 hoops to make a very simple point. She's heavier than she wants to be. Her fat is sitting in places she don't want it to be. No, you can't target lose fat, so just lose it from everywhere. And if you want to put it back on because you feel like you lost too much, guess what you can do? Put it back on. That's what you can do. Yeah. You can put it back on. People act like you can't put the weight back on if you lose too much of it. All right. So I love you all. I'm going to get out of here. This is Safety Reigns. Countess is to be protected during the making of this stream. Okay. Y'all do what y'all want to do after this. We will be back to Vanity Reigns in a couple days. I go home tomorrow and I will see y'all back here on Friday. So I love you all. Make sure you like, share, subscribe, all of that. If you are a Countess stan and you want to tell me how shitty I am, you should have caught me while I was live. All right. I love you all, and I will see y'all in the next one. Bye.